Recording has begun. Good evening, afternoon. This is the July 22nd, 2025 special meeting of the Education, Outreach, and Training Committee of the Sunshine Ordinance Task Force of the City and County of San Francisco. The time is 4:09 p.m. The Sunshine Ordinance Task Force and its committees convene in hybrid meetings that allow for either in-person attendance or remote participation. Public comment will be taken on each item of the agenda. Meeting decorum. Any member of the Sunshine Ordinance Task Force may call for decorum due to the disorderly conduct of meeting participants. Persons who engage in threatening and/or menacing behavior may be asked to leave. A reminder for those who have joined us via WebEx, please note that we are not using the chat option in WebEx because those written statements are not visible to members of the public who are attending the meeting in person or who have called in. You can indicate your desire to be recognized by raising your hand in the app. Chair Hyland, that completes my announcements.
All right, thank you. Let's move to item 1.
Item 1, call to order, roll call, and agenda changes. Chair Hyland, we received notice in advance that Member Kumar would not be attending this afternoon.
Yes, and we have Chair Yankee who's sitting in with us, which is great.
Chair Yankee has self-appointed to be sitting on the committee this afternoon. Calling the roll. Chair Yankee. Chair Hyland.
You call me last, so Member Pilpel. That's fine.
Member Pilpel.
Present.
Member Pilpel present. Chair Yankee. Member Yankee.
Present.
Member Yankee. Member Yankee. Present. Chair Hyland.
Present.
Chair Hyland present. Previously announced, Member Kumar is absent. 3 present, we have a quorum.
Next item.
Public comment?
No. Approval of minutes is item 2.
Agenda changes, if there are any.
Agenda changes. Okay, go ahead.
We have no known agenda changes.
Okay. That concludes item 1. So item 2.
Item 2.
We do public comment. We should choose that one.
Yeah, we should take public comment on
Item
no
1.
on item 1, if there is any.
Anyone wishing to make public comment on item 1? If you're in the room, please approach the podium. If you're online, please raise your hand in the app or press *3. We have 2 hands raised. Hello, caller. Do you wish to make public comment on item 1? Hello, caller. You've been unmuted.
Hi. Yeah, I do want to make comment.
Oh, great. Just a moment. You'll have 3 minutes. Thank you for waiting. Your 3 minutes begins now.
Hi, this is David Steinberg. I'm calling from San Francisco Public Works. I had a question about the agenda. I was notified that Mr. Sullivan, who was a complainant in this case, was not available today, and so item would be pushed off to another hearing. I sent a note to the task force, and I copied Chair Hyland. I think it was just yesterday, and I know you don't check your emails every day, to try to clarify, because I can't stay. I'm almost at the end of the agenda, so if you actually are planning on calling it, if you could move me up, I'd appreciate it. I have a conflict. My husband just had surgery, and I have to kind of take care of him, so I wasn't planning on staying late tonight. So if I can get clarification whether or not I'm going to be heard or not today, and if I could move on, I'd appreciate it. Thank you. That's it.
Chair Hyland, may I call for Mr. Sullivan?
Well, what's the background? Mr. Steinberg is referencing that you had told him that he would not be on the agenda. But it looks like he's item 9.
Yes, just a moment. Let me check emails for Mr. Sullivan.
We can also call Mr. Sullivan and see. Is he the other person online? I doubt he's online yet because his item's coming up later.
I'm not immediately seeing the email from Mr. Sullivan. Mr. Steinberg, I do recall seeing a communication, however. Shall we continue now or when the item is called, as Mr. Steinberg is?
Well, let's ask, is Mr. Sullivan online right now? Is he the other number?
Mr. Sullivan, if you are present online, would you please raise your hand in the app? I see 3 hands raised. Checking, one moment.
Yeah, this is Mr. Sullivan.
Oh, wonderful. Mr. Sullivan, would you be amenable to being moved up in the agenda? I'm sure the answer is yes.
Yes, no problem.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay,
Mr. Steinberg, I'm going to mute you.
Okay, thank you.
let's do the other public comment. There's one more there, I think.
Hello, caller. This is with area code 415-516 as the prefix. Would you like to make public comment on item 1?
No, I'd like to make public comment on item 3, public comment.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to mute you and call you back at item 3.
All right, members, I think we should move up item 9.
Whatever you want.
How about we move it right after item 3? That means Mr. Petrellis have to wait briefly for his 2 files, if that's okay. I'll make a motion to that effect.
I don't think we need a motion.
No?
I think you
Okay.
can just do that.
I think it's probably better to do a motion. So I'll second that motion.
All right, we have a motion. Public comment on that motion, please.
I'm sorry, moved and seconded by?
Member Yankee. And we're going to move item 9.
Chair Hyland made the motion. I seconded to move.
Item 9 to between item 3 and 4, preceding Mr. Petrellis's case. So, members of the public, if you'd like to make public comment on that particular item, please raise your hands online, or if in the room, step to the podium. Seeing no one at the podium.
Anyone wishing to make public comment in the online community on the motion, please raise your hand or press *3 on the phone. We have no public comment.
All right, let's take a roll.
Taking the vote on the motion, Chair Hyland.
Aye.
Chair Hyland, aye. Member Yankee.
Aye.
Member Yankee, aye. Member Pilpel.
Aye.
Member Pilpel, aye. 3 ayes. Motion passes.
Great. Next item.
Item 3, public comment. Item 2. Approval of the January 28, 2025 Sunshine Ordinance Task Force Education, Outreach, and Training Committee regular meeting minutes.
I was not at that meeting, so perhaps Member Pilpel can let us know if everything looks copacetic.
I had some minor edits. Actually, you were present. You just came 10 minutes late.
Oh, okay.
And you did a fine job. Anyway, I just had some
And
very superficial edits. I think the biggest one is to rewrite the sentences. Motion was withdrawn by member blank to member blank withdrew the motion. So as to avoid the passive tense. I can read them in if you want. They really are incredibly superficial.
okay.
I,
Yeah, why don't you read them in?
Okay.
Here.
For what it's worth, on page 1, to add the word noted. So it would read, were noted present to capitalize advisory board of the Castro LGBTQ cultural district. On page 2, replace the word and with the word that. And one of the comments, add a comma, the restatement of the withdrew the motion, to substitute hearings for meetings in the member Kumar motion. Top of page 3, again, to rewrite member Kumar withdrew the motion. For items 5, 6, and 7, it was difficult to find. The items 5, 6, and 7 were called together. So I moved that to be under item 7 so that it's called out rather than being in the text. Anyway, it's still there. It just gets moved. Again, replacing meetings with hearings. Both bottom of page 3 and top of page 4, capitalizing city traffic engineer, making input on the top of page 4, singular. Bottom of page 4, a Zoom recording rather than his Zoom recording. Page 5, adding the first name Jesus before Commissioner Yanez. Importantly, on Sergeant Youngblood's comment, stated that no action was, insert the word taken. So it would read no action was taken on the police chief's report. And then on page 6, adjournment, rather than stating it twice, it would just strike the first reference. So it would just say adjournment, and then there being no further business, the meeting was adjourned at 9:21 p.m. All pretty straightforward. With that, I so move to approve the minutes with the edits as stated.
Okay. And do you have this in writing?
Yep. And I
Give it
will
to you
pass it in.
as in electronic writing, or is it by hand?
It's just by hand.
Okay. All right. I'll second that.
Moved by member Pilpel, seconded by Chair Hyland to approve the January 28, 2025 minutes as amended. Public comment?
Item 3. Yes, please. Well,
Public comment on item
public
2.
comment on item 2 and then item 3.
Anyone wishing to make public comment on item 2, if you're in the room, please approach the podium. If you're online, please raise your hand in the app or press *3. I'll give you a moment.
No one in the room?
No one.
Okay.
Taking the vote?
Please.
Member Pilpel.
Aye.
Member Pilpel, aye. Chair Hyland.
Aye.
Chair Hyland, aye. Member Yankee.
Aye.
Member Yankee, aye. 3 ayes.
Before we move on to the next item, I just wanted to note that EOT did have a special meeting on March 18th, 2025. The meeting minutes were not included in this agenda for approval. My understanding is that that meeting was adjourned shortly after it was called to order due to the WebEx link being incorrect, but nonetheless, since it was called to order, there should be a set of meeting minutes to reflect that there was a call to order, what occurred, and then the adjournment, rather than the agenda being changed. So I think the agenda should be reverted back to what was initially posted, and then a very short set of meeting minutes approved at the next.
Thank you, Member Yankee. That's a good idea. Yep.
Yep.
Might have been the shortest EOT on record.
Yes.
So perhaps that can come up at our next meeting for approval.
Yes, noted.
All right. When you're ready, we'll go to item 3.
Item 3, public comment. Members of the public may address the committee on matters that are within the committee's jurisdiction, but not on today's agenda. If you're in the room, please approach the podium. If you're online, please raise your hand in the app or press *3. We have one member online.
Okay.
Hello, caller. Do you wish to make public comment on item 3?
Yes, I do.
All right. You have 3 minutes. Your 3 minutes begins now.
Hi, this is Michael Petrellis calling in. Last week,
Sorry,
there
excuse
was
me.
to be a...
Can you speak up a little bit? It's a little
Yes?
difficult to hear you.
I'll start speaking. Is this better now? Can you hear me better?
Much better.
Better.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
I'll restart your time. 1 moment.
Okay.
You have 3 minutes. Go ahead.
Hi. This is Michael Petrellis calling in. Last week, there was supposed to be a committee meeting to hear a few items, and only one member of the committee showed up, so the meeting did not happen. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I want to recognize that the members of this important task force are all volunteers, so we have to be flexible. And I was disappointed the meeting was canceled last week, but I have to say the fact that I could dial into the meeting was very appreciated. The fact that you have hybrid meetings is really beneficial for someone like me because it helps protect my health, that I can stay home and dial into the meeting, and hopefully the meeting will take place. That's what I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Petrellis. We have no other hands raised.
Great. General public comment is closed. Move to the next item, which was item 9 on the agenda. And if you can confirm that Mr. Sullivan and Mr. Stein are still with us, that would be great.
Yes, before I call item 9, file 25048. Hello, is this Mr. Sullivan?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Sullivan. 1 moment, I'm promoting you to panelist. You will be able to mute and unmute yourself. Mr. Steinberg has been added as a panelist. Calling item 9, file number 25048. Complaint filed by Mark Sullivan against David Steinberg and San Francisco Public Works for allegedly violating Administrative Code Sunshine Ordinance, Section 67.21 sub B. Sub B, respond.
Your mic.
I'm sorry.
I can't. Is your mic on?
Testing.
No.
Testing.
There we go.
Recalling item 9, file number 25048. Complaint filed by Mark Sullivan against David Steinberg and San Francisco Public Works for allegedly violating Administrative Code Sunshine Ordinance, Section 67.21 sub B, for failing to respond in a timely and/or complete manner. Section 67.21 L for failing to provide public information for inspection and copying. Section 67.26 for failing to keep the withholding of records without justification to a minimum, and 67.27 for failing to provide justification for withholding records. Calling petitioner for 3 minutes. 1 moment, please.
Five minutes.
That will be 5 minutes. Correction, 5 minutes. Hello, Mr. Sullivan. Are you ready for your 5 minutes to begin?
Yes.
Great. 1 moment, please. Your time begins now.
In my complaint, I give the backstory reason for asking Public Works for their next request interface and making record requests public or restricting it to the requester and staff only. I thought this would be a simple, easy request. Mr. Steinberg did give me screenshots of interfaces to make a next request public and to close the request. He has yet to show any next request writings on how DPW limits a next request visibility to staff and the requester or any other access, though I have consistently requested DPW's actual interface for this. I give examples of DPW limiting access and visibility of a next request in my complaint. Based on Mr. Steinberg's response to my request, he seems to make the argument that next request interface in question is not in the custody or possession of him, that producing a copy of it would be constructing a new record. Both assertions misread the Sunshine Ordinance and the CPRA. He asserts in his complaint response that Public Works does use the next request interface, but because he claims the writings are a dynamic interface of a third-party software, that they are not public records. Section 6721C does say, or in the custody of the custodian, but before that it says available to. The use of or means only one condition needs to be met. Mr. Steinberg cites CPRA 7922.530 as having the word possession. The section does not have possession because what constitutes a public record is already defined in CPRA 792530. A, as used in this division, public records include any writing containing information relating to the conduct of the public's business, prepared, owned, used, or retained by any state or local agency, regardless of physical form or characteristic. The or in prepared, owned, used, or retained makes only one condition necessary in that next request interface, in that the next request interfaces are used to conduct the public's business by a local agency. The Sunshine Ordinance Section 67.21C adds the additional condition that it only has to be available to the local agency. They must produce the record. A dynamic drop-down window that is used by Public Works is available to Public Works. A common misconception in San Francisco is that the CPRA public records means documents, and that making a copy or copy in a different format is making a new record. CPRA 7920.530A clearly defines records as writings regardless of physical form or characteristic. This means the writing on a document or a computer screen or text is a public record. Making a copy of the writing in another format is not constructing a new record. Rearranging the writings or changing a picture or data would be constructing a new record. But I am not asking Mr. Steinberg for that. I'm asking Mr. Steinberg for a copy of an existing next request writing interface. I made multiple requests seeking information in and around this request in order to try and avoid making a complaint to the task force. The CPRA, another thing is the CPRA does not prohibit the construction of records if they are based on existing writings. CPRA 7922.530A, 7922.575B, 7922.5.35C4 all allude to or use the words construct a record. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Is there anybody here presenting on behalf of the plaintiff?
Yes, David Steinberg is here.
No,
Oh,
for the
I'm sorry.
petition on behalf of Mr. Sullivan. Just need to ask the question. I don't think there is, but
There are no hands raised.
thank you. Okay, moving on to Mr. Steinberg.
Mr. Steinberg, are you ready for your 5 minutes? Hello, Mr. Steinberg. Mr. Steinberg, I'll give you a moment. I can see you're still online. We have a hand raised. May I see if it's Mr. Steinberg? Caller, you've been unmuted. Is this Mr. Steinberg?
Yes, it is.
Just a moment. I'm going to move you to panelist. I'm going to leave your other connection online.
Okay.
Mr. Steinberg, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Are
Oh.
you ready for your 5 minutes?
Mr.
Hi.
Steinberg, could you speak up just a little bit? We can just about hear you, but if there's any way you can raise the volume on your phone or
Sure. Is this, excuse me, is this any better?
marginally.
All right. Are you ready?
Yes, I will talk as loud as is necessary.
Okay, your time starts now.
Thank you, Chair Hyland and members of the committee. Again, I am David Steinberg. I'm custodian of record for San Francisco Public Works. Public Works is committed to transparency and public access to information. The refusal to create documents does not equate to a lack of transparency, but rather just adherence to legal guidelines. So as far as Mr. Sullivan's complaint, when he's talking, when you consider creating a new document, screenshots are not pre-existing records, but are created specifically to fulfill a request. This creation process involves capturing a visual representation of data, which is not the same as providing an existing document. This fact was confirmed by Deputy City Attorney Kate Kimberline, acting as a supervisor of records when she rejected Mr. Sullivan's petition. Talking about easily generated, that refers to the format in which existing records can be provided, such as converting a document to PDF or printing a digital file. Taking a screenshot involves creating a new document, which is not mandated by the law. Mr. Sullivan's request to provide this purported record would first require staff to perform an action to trigger a drop-down menu and then either save or screenshot that drop-down menu. The CPRA and Sunshine Ordinance allow individuals to request existing records, but do not empower requesters to direct city staff to perform specific actions in order to create new records. In his complaint, I'd like to point out a few inaccuracies that were submitted to the task force. He says that for request number 252963, the document I gave him was about publishing and not visibility. He misunderstood the information because in next request parlance, publishing means who can see a request. So I created a screenshot, which I was not required to do, showing that all public works requests are by default published, meaning they're visible to anyone with no login required. He asked how requests are closed. Again, not exactly a request for a document, but I was trying to be helpful. So again, I sent him a screenshot of our standard closure template. For request 25-2986, Mr. Sullivan is wrong when he says that the CPRA language I cited has nothing to do with constructing a document. The CPRA section that I released to him defines what a public record is, and by extension what it isn't. The screenshot that Mr. Sullivan wanted me to create didn't exist. Not to get too existential, but something that doesn't exist can't, by definition, or something that doesn't exist by definition isn't anything, and therefore meets none of the legal requirements of a record. If it doesn't exist, it's not there. Mr. Sullivan submitted about 20 requests in the first half of 2025. Many of them related to this. None of them were actually for original documents, but they seem to be trying to determine how we respond to other requests and how we use next requests. And I've tried to be helpful. In conclusion, I just want to say Public Works has acted in accordance with the CPRA and the Sunshine Ordinance by refusing to create new records in response to the complainant's request. The department has provided all existing records that are responses to his request and has offered assistance in identifying such records. The complaint lacks merit as it is based on a misinterpretation of the legal requirements of public records disclosure, and I would ask that you recommend that his complaint be found not valid. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have some couple questions.
Yeah. Anybody talking on behalf of Mr. Steinberg? Please raise your hands or approach the podium. I'm dialing in. Matrix mode.
If there's anyone wishing to speak on behalf of petitioner, please raise your hand in the app or press *3. We have no hands raised.
All right. The matter is before us. Member Yankee had some questions, I believe.
Yes. So I'm not sure if this is a question for Ms. Peterson or for Mr. Sullivan, but in reviewing the packet for this, the second page of the PDF says initial request, and then it's blank and there is no copy of the initial request. So I think that whenever we have a packet before it makes it to the committee, we need to make sure that the initial request is there. And I'm not sure if that was provided by Mr. Sullivan or not, but it's kind of difficult to follow through on this. Nonetheless, I was able to find the requests through the document that Mr. Steinberg submitted, and there are 4 links, and the links actually work. And if you click them, which I know Member Pilpel can't do because he doesn't have online, gets to the point of why I asked that it be included in the packet. But there are 4 next request links. There's 253007, 252986, 252984, 252963. So I clicked those, I have them open. So my question to Mr. Sullivan, is there one of these in particular that is the one that is the request on which this complaint is based? Since it wasn't.
So my complaint is on page 10. I don't know why it's not up above the initial response. So, and I do provide the links there. The first link, my first link was an attempt to, and my complaint says why those links exist. The first link is the original request, and then the last link is to the request where I just left out the screenshot and asked him to produce the next request interface any way he liked. I mean, I was just suggesting the screenshot, but I don't need a screenshot.
So Mr. Sullivan, can you give me the number of the one that we should be looking at, which next request number it is that is the basis of this? Is it the one with the lowest number? No,
because it's based on both. Okay, We can base it on the last one.
Last one, okay.
The last one. Okay.
So this is 2530007.
Yeah, let me click on the link and make sure.
Which I don't see a copy of that full.
Page 15 of the packet towards the bottom talks about that a little bit.
Okay.
Mhm.
Partial part of the request. It doesn't seem to include the entire. Remember, Bill Pell, it's a 3-part one. Did you see parts 1, 2, and 3 included?
I'm just saying that.
Right, I know that part of it.
He's making some reference to it.
Right, there's some reference to it. I just want to make sure we're all looking at the exact initial request so we know what we're basing this off of. Since there's a 3.
Well, it doesn't have to be an initial request. It's just a matter of whether the next request interface is a public records and whether he should give it to me or not.
So essentially what it is to distill it down, Mr. Sullivan, is you're asking for the screenshots of next request.
I'm asking for the next request interface that shows him being able to give, to restrict it to like the staff and the requester or any other types of restrictions that he uses. And I give an example from another department that did give me the screenshot, but obviously, if you'd read my complaint, you would understand.
No, I did. I just wanted to make sure, since the actual initial request wasn't in the file. So I would just make a request that you work with Ms. Peterson to make sure that the initial request is included in the packet before it makes it to the full task force. However it is, we package it up because I think that needs to be there. So with that, I'll turn
Okay.
to Rose.
No worries.
Member Pilpo?
So I did read through the material, but I'm somewhat confused. First to Mr. Sullivan, and we can either spend a lot of time on this or not so much time. I'm tending to go for not so much time, but I'll take as much time as we need to get through it. Are you actually looking for any public works records as to trees, streets, construction, engineering, administration, any of that? Or is this really just about screenshots of how Public Works uses Next Request?
I am looking for the Next Request interface to see how they use the Next Request, how Public Works uses the Next Request to change visibility of a request.
Okay. So then all right, you've answered the question. So to Mr. Steinberg, do you understand, since this one is slightly beyond me, what exactly Mr. Sullivan is looking for? And I'll start there.
I based on what he wrote in the item 1 of this request -3007,
As loud as possible.
saying, based on item 1 of his request 3007, where he says, you should have options like select visibility, staff only, request plus, et cetera. I had a vague idea of what he was looking for, and again, it sounds like he wanted to see what the next request interface was. He had submitted some earlier requests, and I sent him like the FAQ from Next Request, which we obviously have access to. But yeah, it's like he wants to. I think the best thing is if he wanted to sit behind my shoulder and watch me as I close the request or make a document public or release it. That's probably what he wants to see, but isn't really very practical either. Because again,
yeah,
my understanding is if we have a document, I have to give it to you, but he's telling me do this and then show me what it looks like.
I
Something
think
that
I
doesn't
understand.
exist yet. So
I think
yeah.
I understand. So to Mr. Steinberg, is the root of your objection or concern not that this is difficult to do or time consuming, but that you're not required to do it? And if you do it in this case, it sets some kind of precedent, and Mr. Sullivan or others may ask you to do it in the future, and this is not something you want to be in the business of doing if you're not required to do so. Is that a fair summary?
Yeah, it is, because I mean, not to sound like a jerk, but I've found that every time I do something beyond what I'm required to do, it always comes back to bite me, because people. I've done this with Mr. Sullivan, where he's asked for something, and like, I don't really have to do this, but like in his earlier request, I gave him screenshots because I figured, well, that was easy. It'll show him what he wants, and he just kept coming back with more and more and more. And so as a rule, I try not to provide things that I'm not required to provide.
Okay.
But I usually give people other options.
Understood. Okay, so let me just ask it this way to Mr. Steinberg. Would you say this is similar or different from someone asking for an Excel document and you providing the Excel document, as opposed to someone asking for how one might manipulate an Excel document, and can you provide them the screenshots of how it got from point A to point B using Microsoft Excel?
That's probably a pretty good analogy. Again, if it's a document we have it, we'll give it to you. What people ask, how was this done? How do you do this? What happened about this? I always tell people, tell me a document, I will get it to you. If you have questions, I often will redirect them to our communications folks or someone in a bureau where they can explain something. I'm not the expert on some of these things. I can't explain it, but if there's a document, I'll get it to you.
So that's where you're trying to draw the line. Documents, yes. How we manipulate it, how software is used, not so much.
I think that's fair, yeah.
Okay. All right. I understand. Thank you.
Do we have any other thoughts, or do you want to go to rebuttals? I mean, we're kind of packaging this for the full task force or not. That's our,
I'm good.
Not to get too much into the merits. Let's do rebuttals. Mr. Steinberg, first, up to 3 minutes.
Mr. Steinberg, are you ready for your 3-minute rebuttal?
Yes, I am.
Your time begins now.
Thank you. I really don't have much to add. I think, if you read our response to his complaint, it lays it all out. I think, again, the main thing here is that Mr. Sullivan's request worked for existing records. He was asking me to perform a function and then document my actions by creating a record of it. So even if you were to somehow characterize the image on my screen of the selected dropdown as being a record, that image didn't exist when Mr. Sullivan submitted his request. He's asking me to perform an action, and the Sunshine Ordinance does not allow someone to request a document that will or may be created in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Sullivan, are you ready for your 3-minute rebuttal?
Yes.
One moment, please. All right, your 3 minutes begins now.
The definition of records in the CPRA is not limited to the documents. It is the writings on a document or on any form that it is. It doesn't have to be on a monitor. The other thing is next request interface is used by DPW. It doesn't have to be like, he doesn't have to show it all the time. It's not like the documents or Excels are on his screen when he gets them. I don't care how he transmits it, whether it's screenshot or not. I specifically left out asking for a screenshot of next request interface in my last request and just asked for a copy of the writing in any form he wanted. A picture, screenshot, of writing is not a new writing, but a copy of the writing. Similarly, if you took a paper document with writings to a copy machine, it is not considered a new record. Scanners or copy machines takes a picture and makes copies of a record. Making a copy of record of writings is not programming or reprogramming the computer, just like copying a document in Word doc to PDF is not reprogramming the computer. Next request interface, doing what the visibility of public records request is important for the public to know that they can be hidden. And he does use it, and I show in my complaint where he has hidden next request by using it only to restricting it only to staff and the requester, and not to the public as a whole. These are writings that DPW are using to do an action that is great, that determines whether other requests are public, or even if the requester's request is public. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Members, what are your pleasure? I guess we can find jurisdiction on this. It's the first step.
Yeah, I think we can decide. I think we need to decide. I think we're pretty much probably in agreement that we have jurisdiction in their public records here. So I think we need to determine is this something we think we can package, A, just send it on to the task force, B, send it on to the task force with a recommendation to go a certain direction, or B, or C rather, is it a consent agenda item? So I think those are kind of the three ways that we can do this.
Bilbo?
At this point, my thinking is that this isn't fundamentally about underlying DPW records. This is about how DPW uses third-party software to make available public records. And to the extent that Mr. Steinberg and DPW has provided information about how they use the software, that's kind of sufficient for me with these facts. Other facts, I might go to other places. So I'm thinking at this point, but I'm still open to persuasion, that it's not that as to this particular complaint, it's not a violation of the ordinance, and I would put it on the consent calendar. Again, other facts might lead me to other places. This has nothing to do with any other complaints involving Mr. Sullivan or Public Works, just on these narrow facts.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same place as you, Member Pilpel, mainly because I would have concerns that if to Mr. Steinberg's point, if we were to say that you have to send one screenshot of a staff member performing a task, what's to stop someone saying, I want a screenshot for every 3 seconds, take a screenshot of staff members performing their tasks on their monitor. It could be an indefinite, and obviously at that point that we're asking them to create a record, not give a record that exists. So I'm inclined to follow through with what you're saying, Member Pilpel.
Chair Highlander, yes, I agree with both of you, and I think particularly important is what Mr. Steinberg said, is that record, even if you did take a screenshot, was not in existence at the time of the request. Mm-hmm. For me, that's the litmus test here. So I would support this to go to find jurisdiction. I'll make a motion. We find jurisdiction and we forward this to consent calendar with a recommendation of no violation.
I will second that with the inclusion of then they are public records.
Yes.
Being discussed.
Sorry.
So we find jurisdiction. We find jurisdiction and that they are public records. And we forward to the consent calendar with a recommendation of no violation.
Moved by Chair Hyland, seconded by Member Yankee.
Brief discussion. I'm with jurisdiction. I'm with no violation. I'm with consent calendar. I'm not crazy about this being a public record. I'm a little wobbly on that. It certainly concerns public records. I'm not sure I want to classify a screenshot in this instance as
Well, maybe
being a
that's
public
that's a
record.
Maybe that's a good point. Maybe that's a good
Yeah.
point that we're almost finding out that it's not a public record.
Pat, we're going to make an amendment to
Yeah,
that because,
I'm fine with that,
okay,
yeah.
so you had it right the first time. We find jurisdiction, comma, we find this is not a public record, or we just leave that out completely?
Or that it involves the broad area of public records if you want, but
How about we just find jurisdiction?
I can live with that.
So we find jurisdiction, comma, and forward this to the consent calendar with a recommendation of no violation.
I'm fine with that, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
The seconder accepts the amendment. Thank you, Member Pilpel. That's a good catch.
With the finding of a recommendation of no violation. Public comment?
Please.
Anyone in the room wishing to make public comment on item 9, please approach the podium. If you're online, please raise your hand in the app or press *3. We have no one in the queue.
And seeing nobody in the room, public comment is closed. Take a roll call, please.
Taking the vote, Chair Hyland.
Aye.
Chair Hyland, aye. Member Yankee.
Aye.
Member Yankee, aye. Member Pilpel.
Aye.
Member Pilpel, aye. 3 ayes.
Mr. Sullivan, thank you for your flexibility in hearing this earlier than advertised. Mr. Steinberg, good luck with your medical duties.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. We can now go back to Member Petrellis's, or Mr. Petrellis's first case, which was item 4, original. You can read that into the record, please. Noted that Member Yankee stepped away for a minute, but we still have quorum, so we can continue.
Item number 4, file number 25046, complaint filed by Michael Petrellis against Supervisor Jackie Fielder for allegedly violating Administrative Code Sunshine Ordinance, Section 67.25, for failing to respond to an immediate disclosure request in a timely and/or complete manner. Mr. Petrellis, would you kindly raise your hand in the app or press *3 so that I can locate you and promote you to panelist? Hello, caller. Is this Mr. Petrellis?
Yes, hi, this is Michael.
Hi, just a moment, please. I'm going to promote you to panelist.
Plus, he really needs to speak up.
When you do speak, when we call on you, could you please speak louder?
Yes, I can.
Excellent. And we have an authorized representative from Supervisor Fielders present with us in the room.
This may be the first time that Mr. Petrellis has been asked to speak louder in his, never mind.
Very droll, very droll.
Are we ready to go?
Yes, you're ready. Start with Mr. Petrellis.
Mr. Petrellis.
Up to 5 minutes.
Mr.
Yes,
Petrellis,
hello. Yes.
Hold on just a moment. I have lost you in the on the screen. Confirming that could you speak again, please? Mr.
Hi,
Petrellis?
this is Michael. I don't know if you can hear me or not, but I'm speaking.
Excellent, excellent.
I think he was
All right.
5516.
Okay, good. Then you can hear me.
Yes, your 5 minutes begins now.
Hi, this is Michael Petrellis calling. I'm looking at the response from Jackie Fielder's office dated Friday, June 6th. And they make 3 points. The first point is that they have no records responsive to my request. Okay. Point number 2 is they say, I submitted a request only to Supervisor Fielder's email. Yes, it should be no question that a request sent to a supervisor's official email, and that is the only place you send it, unless otherwise instructed, unless everyone in the public is otherwise instructed. Supervisor Fielder and her staff should be looking at her emails every day, and also it is not my burden to also send the request to the clerk of the board. They say in this point here that the clerks of the board were also not alerted or CC'd. Well, that is not my burden. Final point number 3 is that they responded promptly after they were contacted by Sunshine Ordinance Task Force, and that was past the deadline for responding to an immediate disclosure request. So I think that they are in non-compliance, and because they didn't respond, didn't give me any responsive records, and well, they didn't have responsive records, but they didn't respond within the required time. And then to say that the problem was I didn't circulate it to other people, that is, I believe, a weak excuse. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anybody here speaking on behalf of Mr. Petrellis? Please raise your hands or approach the podium. We have someone in the room.
Hello.
This individual is not on behalf of Mr. Petrellis.
So you're speaking on behalf of Mr. Petrellis, right?
Oh, sorry. No, speaking on behalf of Supervisor Fielder.
Okay, hold on. We'll get to you 1 second.
We have no hands raised.
Okay. Okay, you can approach again. All right, now we're ready for you. Would you like to identify yourself?
My name is Fong Han. I am a legislative aide for Supervisor Fielder.
Wonderful.
And I have a statement that we have prepared. And I will begin.
She'll give you your 5 minutes, Mark.
Okay.
Yep, carry on.
Okay.
Oh.
Hello and thank you, members of the Sunshine Ordinance Task Force, and to members of the Education, Outreach, and Training Committee, and especially to Madam Clerk Pat Peterson for making arrangements to accommodate our schedule given the Board of Supervisors legislative recess in August. My name is Fong Han, and I'm a legislative aide for Supervisor Fielder, representing her today while she attends the Board of Supervisors meeting. Supervisor Fielder is committed to full government transparency and has responded to all other Sunshine requests in a timely manner, and this has been because both the clerk and her staff have been alerted to ensure she was aware of such requests and deadlines. We appreciate the concerns brought up by the complainant about Supervisor Fielder's failure to respond on the timeline of the Sunshine requests from Mr. Petrellis in May. However, there are a few points we would like to make about what happened for this case. Firstly, Supervisor Fielder simply did not see Mr. Petrellis' request, nor did her staff until our office was made aware that there was a hearing to address this complaint. When he sent his initial and follow-up requests, Mr. Petrellis only sent emails to Supervisor Fielder. In other words, he did not CC any of our 4 staff or the general inbox at fielderstaff@sfgov.org, nor the clerk of the Board of Supervisors, who generally field such requests for all board members. Supervisor Fielder receives hundreds of emails every day, and she covers her own inbox. Given the high volume of urgent issues, meetings, events, and demands she is responding to every day, she does not always get to her emails in a timely manner, and while every day at the Board of Supervisors is different, they are busy. This request also came amidst an incredibly challenging budget season at the same time that multiple crises have been happening in her district. So in short, Supervisor Fielder simply did not see this request, nor did the 2 follow-up emails that he sent, that Mr. Petrellis sent on May 19th and May 20th, were only sent to Supervisor Fielder's email and no other staff. Additionally, this was an immediate disclosure request sent on May 16th at 12:25 a.m. with a due date of close of business the same day, May 16th. After 2 follow-ups, again, only to the supervisor on May 19th and 20th, Mr. Petrellis filed this complaint. For a supervisor with such public demands on her time and demands on her inbox, it is, I think, puzzling that no one else was ever contacted. Second, our office has no responsive records to his requests, and I personally communicated this to the clerks and to Mr. Petrellis as soon as our office realized his email has been missed by the supervisor. So we're left with one question to the complainant now, which is that if there are any records that you are looking for here that have not been resolved. While we appreciate Mr. Petrellis for following up through this hearing today, we feel it would have been easily avoidable had he taken the simple step of reaching out to our staff once he did not get a reply from the supervisor. We encourage Mr. Petrellis to include a staff person or the clerk of the board or both in a CC of such requests in the future. Thank you again for your work to ensure compliance with the Sunshine Ordinance. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anybody here to speak on behalf of the respondent? Seeing no one else in the room. Any hands up? Peterson? Nothing?
We have no hands raised.
Great. Okay, the matter is before us.
I have a couple questions.
Member Yankee.
Okay, thank you. My first questions are for Mr. Petrellis. So Mr. Petrellis,
Okay.
I see the email here on May 16th, and I just want to clarify, these were records that you were looking for that you believe Supervisor Fielder personally may have had in her possession, not the city in general, correct? Is that, it wasn't exactly clear because it says copies of all documents, including but not limited to emails, text, WhatsApp, Twitter, Facebook, direct message pertaining to in any way, and it goes on. So I just want to make sure that you were looking for one specifically in Supervisor Fielder's possession. Is that correct?
Yes, absolutely correct.
Okay. And so if this was initially sent on May 16th, at what point did you finally receive an affirmative or response saying that they did not have the records? Was that the one that...
I'm scrolling down trying to find that email from them. And I'm not seeing it. If someone else is looking at the paperwork for this complaint, it's 29 pages.
I don't think it's in our packet.
Respondents. I'm looking at it online. I can't find the date.
Yeah, because the first thing I'm seeing that where they're saying that they
Well, the
don't
date
have...
was certainly past the required deadline.
Well, I'm just wondering if it would have been also past the required deadline if it was not an IDR. Just in the event that we go down the road and think that it might be too voluminous for an IDR. That's why I wanted the date. I see that the response to the SOTF, which is on PDF page 3, came on June 6th. And the first item there says we have no records responsive to the original request, but I just wanted to know if they, prior to that date, had informed you that they did not have records responsive, or is that the first time you saw that?
The original request, May
I believe
16th,
not.
right? The original request is May 16th.
I believe I did not hear before Supervisor Fielder's office responded to the task force. I had not heard from them.
Could I jump in for a second?
Member Pilpel. Yeah.
Yeah, then go ahead.
Okay. To Mr. Hahn, is that correct? Can you approach? Do you recall if you or someone else in the office responded directly to Mr. Petrellis at some point prior to June 6th?
Yes,
your office had no responsive records?
Yes, I did. So I have the email right here, June 4th.
Okay.
Hi, Michael. Supervisor Fielder apologizes that your Sunshine request was unfortunately lost in the shuffle of a mailbox. In the future, please email Fielder staff so that we can process your requests more promptly. Given that we have no records responsive to the requests, would you consider rescinding your complaint? Please let me know. Much appreciated.
Okay.
Okay, so thank you. So to that
And then I'll
point,
come back after.
yeah.
Thank you.
It would still have been beyond the 10 days allowed, even if it wasn't an IDR. So that settles that question. Okay, so that was that part. And then, Mr. Hunt, if you could, my question for you was, I guess I'm a little confused by our argument or the response you gave that it needed to go to the board, clerk of the board, or other staff members. How are you relying on that? I mean, it seems to be that it was fairly clear that it did go to an official SFGov account that was for Supervisor Fielder, that Mr. Petrellis stated just now that he was only looking for records that may have been in Supervisor Fielder's possession. So I guess I'm confused why the argument that he would have needed to somehow inform other people beyond Supervisor Fielder of his request. So maybe you could clarify that.
To clarify, I think it's simple human error that it's possible an email request was missed. And in this case, given the volume of emails in her inbox, it's possible and reasonable to expect that one of these requests might have slipped through the cracks. And so generally speaking, the staff, if a level of redundancy would be helpful so that, we can respond in a prompt manner. And the staff help process with the clerks of the board any sunshine requests, and we have been prompt in terms of processing sunshine requests, as long as one level outside of Supervisor Fielder's mailbox has been CC'd.
So just to drill down a little bit more, are you suggesting that Supervisor Fielder did miss it? That was, a violation, but for best practice, it would be better for a requester to CC, or are you making the assertion that Supervisor Fielder had no legal obligation to respond because staff and clerks were not also CC'd? I guess I'm trying to differentiate between best practice versus legal requirement.
Best practice.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you still accept the fact that if it went to Supervisor Fielder and was asked for Supervisor Fielder's records, even if it went to just her email address, that she did have some type of obligation to respond. I understand you said it may have been missed, but there's still an obligation there.
Yes.
Okay. That's all. I'm done.
Member Philpott, did you have a question?
Yeah, a couple of things. So once again, and I think Member Yankee caught this on the last case, the initial request is not in our packet. So if either Mr. Hahn or Mr. Petrellis can be sure that the initial request, and for that matter, that June 4th email in response, if those can get in the packet, that would help. I was really looking for the May 16th email as to what time it was sent and whether the subject line had immediate disclosure request. Because the bottom line, Mr. Petrellis certainly knows this, but to Mr. Hahn, is that any email that's got the magic, maybe you want to join us up here, that any email that's got the magic words immediate disclosure request in the subject line should get flagged. And whether it goes just to the supervisor, to the staff, to Wilson, to anybody in Board of Soups land, that stuff should be called and processed. Mr. Petrellis doesn't get to dictate that there needs to be a response by the end of that day. If it's sent in the middle of the night, you may have another day. It depends on when it was sent, et cetera. But the point is that anything that says immediate disclosure request really should be flagged either by the supervisor or by the staff somehow. And that applies not just to your office, but the mayor, any elected official, any department head. That's just general thing. Yes, I understand it's better practice to communicate it to Fielder staff or whatever else you've got set up, but just again, in terms of legal compliance. I think this is the first time your office has been here since Supervisor Fielder took office. It's useful to establish some rapport with the task force. I don't consider this, the world's greatest violation, but I think it's useful to ensure that your office has procedures set up. If somebody's not there, that somebody else checks, that there's a process in place. This often happens with new supervisors and their staff. So we're still in questions. I'll get to my other points when we get to discussion.
I
have no other question.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Since you're up there, Mr. Hahn, let's go to rebuttals. You get to go first. You have up to 3 minutes to add anything else, any closing thoughts.
I would like to flag that as soon as we received the notice from the Sunshine Ordinance Task Force, we responded immediately. And so this was in our office attempting to slow down the response or not to respond. I would like to emphasize that it was just simply that we had no knowledge of this request.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Petrellis, you'll have up to 3 minutes to provide your concluding remarks.
Mr. Petrellis, are you?
Terrific.
Go
I'm
ahead.
ready.
Your 3 minutes starts now.
Well, first of all, I found the original email that PillPell wanted, and it stated Friday, May 16 at 12:25 a.m. Let me repeat that the timestamp of when I sent it was 12:25 a.m. So it was sent after midnight. At the end of my request, it says, please confirm receipt of this IDR. Oh, by the way, my subject line, which I'll read to you, says immediate disclosure request, Andre Jose Hernandez Records. So the 3 magic words, immediate disclosure request, are in the subject line. It was sent at 12:25 a.m. on the 16th. So the business day hadn't started on May 16th. And I say at the end, please confirm receipt by the close of business at May 16. So I was assuming they would be in business that day, see it in the morning, and that Ms. Fielder, she has a staff of 5, including herself. We're talking an office of 6 people, and there should be a mechanism in place where her official government address is being monitored for things that say immediate disclosure request. Mr. Hahn talked about all of the problems going on in this district in which I live. Yes, and that is the reason why there should be a mechanism in place that immediately flags such a request or any FOIA request. Finally, I wish to point out that on her website, where I am right now, there is nothing here that says, in addition to your request going to Jackie Fielder at SF.gov, it should also be going to the clerk of the board. This is the first time I've ever heard of a government official saying the burden on me out of the blue is that I have to submit a request to Angela Calvillo. If the supervisor wants that burden put on the requester, she has the responsibility to say that on her government page, and it's not here. And I'll stop there. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Petrellis.
Thank you.
Just for the record, that email is in our packet. It's on page 10. And going forward, Madam Clerk, if that can be pulled up to the top, just because, as with all cases, we start with the original request. It can appear again later as part of the narrative, chronological narrative, but it'd just be great to see that original at the very top.
It is, but it doesn't have the subject line here.
It does. That's great. Online. It is there, but it just needs to be pulled to the very top so we can start our work with that.
Plus the June 4th. All right. Anyway, you'll figure it out.
All right, members. Thank you, Mr. Hunt. You can sit down. Any thoughts on this?
Sure, I'll start. I think this is, as Member Popel stated, probably a case of a new supervisor, new staff, not understanding the requirements and kind of in the spirit of EOT. Obviously, I think it's a good education, experience on that. But nonetheless, I think it's pretty clear there was violation at a minimum. It should have been a response since they did put immediate disclosure, request. A response should have been given by the next business day. Even if it was voluminous, it took them longer. They didn't say anything like that. So I think it's pretty clear that it's a violation of 6725A. But as Member Pilpel said, I don't think this is the most egregious thing we've ever seen by any means. I think it's a good learning experience. I'll leave it at that.
Member Pilpel.
Yeah, I would agree. I don't think there was any intent to violate. I think, yes, it fell through the cracks. I think it's having systems in place, checking, at least once a day, hopefully more than once a day. And if this was a Friday morning past midnight, then I think the response or acknowledgement should have been by close of business the following Monday, the following business day. And so to the extent that it was June 4th rather than May 19th, I think that is a technical 67.25 A violation. But I don't think this needs to go anywhere I think we had enough chit chat back and forth. I'm convinced that they have systems in place, and I think you're now aware that Mr. Petrellis does make requests on a regular basis, and seeing things from him might prompt you to respond. If he hasn't asked for a Prop G calendar, he probably will at some point.
Yeah, and Member Hunt or Mr. Hunt, I was going to say, probably wouldn't hurt on the Jackie Fielder's landing page to put, public records request email. A lot of city departments do that. I don't know if IT lets you have that extra line. I would put it there. Please direct all public records requests or calendar requests to this email address, and have someone monitor that every day. And like Member Yankee said, just acknowledging, we got it, working on it. That goes a long way for us, and that'll help you guys kind of get streamlined with public records requests.
Yeah, and I was just going to that point. I was going to say, we're not saying that Supervisor Fielder, personally needed to respond to this. It's okay if she, sends this to staff to work on, but she should, there should be like a process in place, like Member Pilpel said, that if she's the one who has exclusive use of her SF account, I'm not sure if she uses it or if you all can see it or how that works, but if it's just her, then she at least forwards that to staff, and you guys know that that's something you have to work on quickly. No one's saying that she personally has to do it. We understand supervisors have a busy schedule and all that, but just someone on behalf of the office has to take care of it.
Yeah. May I speak?
Sure, go ahead.
And just we have started implementing rules around some of these to help with these requests since the notice from the Sunshine Ordinance Task Force, including automatic forwarding of any immediate disclosure requests. So
great. And also another thing that catches up departments, whoever's checking that inbox when they go on vacation, make sure someone else is checking it. That always comes before us, and that leads to another timeliness issue. Yeah. So put your systems in place, you guys will be fine.
Okay, because I think this one doesn't have any outstanding issues to resolve. I think we did a good education thing. I think it's a pretty clear-cut case. I think this is one of those good consent item things. So I'm going to make a motion to find jurisdiction, the records were public, that we find a violation of 6725A and refer this to the consent calendar.
Noted. Second?
Second.
Seconded by Member Pilpel.
All right. Let's take some public comment on that motion.
Taking public comment on item number 4, file number 25046. If you are in the online community, please raise your hand in the app or press *3. We have no other members of the public in the room. We have no hands raised.
Okay, let's take a roll call.
And thank you to Supervisor's Office for working with us. We'd like to do problem solving. Hold on a second.
Thank you.
A second, we're going to take.
Yeah.
Taking the vote. Member Yankee.
Aye.
Member Yankee, aye. Member Pilpel.
Aye.
Member Pilpel, aye. Chair Hyland.
Aye.
Chair Hyland, aye. 3 ayes.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Hunt. So where is the initial request on the next one? I'm looking, I'll find it.
Call it.
Yeah, let's go ahead and call item 5, please.
Calling item number 5, file number 25047, complaint filed by Michael Petrellis against Supervisor Matt Dorsey for allegedly violating Administrative Code Sunshine Ordinance, Section 67.25, for failing to respond to an immediate disclosure request in a timely and/or complete manner. We do have a representative from Supervisor Dorsey's office. One moment, please. Hello, Ms. Donovan. Have I reached Ms. Donovan?
Hello, yes, I am
Hi
here.
there. I'm promoting you to panelist. One moment, please. You'll be able to raise and lower your hand
Great, thank you.
individually. Just a moment. Mr. Petrellis, you are still a panelist.
Thank you.
And before we start, I should make a disclosure that I've known Supervisor Dorsey for a number of years. I wouldn't call us close friends, but I would say that we're friends or acquaintances. I have not spoken to him in a number of months, and I certainly have not spoken to him about this particular complaint. I believe that I'm impartial and I have no issues finding a violation or not wherever we land.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. Ms. Peterson, when you're ready to let Mr. Petrellis start.
Mr. Petrellis, are you ready for your 5 minutes?
Yes, I am.
Your time begins now.
Hi, everybody. It's Michael Petrellis again. First of all, I'm glad that Dorothy's office. Hello?
Yep, carry on.
We can hear you.
I'll continue. Yes, I'm happy that Dorsey's office is not contesting this complaint. And I'm reminded, looking at where I sent this request to just his address, not to any staff member or any general Matt Dorsey staff at SS.gov address. It just went to the supervisor. And, you know, I'm realizing that there really needs to be a mechanism with the elected official and his or her government addy that it is being monitored for public records requests, especially for the words immediate disclosure request, and that for me, the requester, the frequent requester, no, the burden shouldn't be on me to remember which government official wants me to send it to what address. So I just want to put that out. Regarding this complaint, that it was the same request that I had sent to Supervisor Fielder for any records about Andre Hernandez. And as we see in the response from Dorsey, they didn't have any responsive records. So I think this is an easy case of noncompliance in the time frame, and like I said, good for Matt for not contesting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is anybody here to talk on behalf of Mr. Petrellis and the online community? There's no one else in the room here.
We have no hands raised.
All right. Ready to give the respondent her time?
Ms. Donovan, are you ready for your 5 minutes?
Yes,
They begin now.
thank you, and good evening, Sunshine Ordinance Task Force members, Director Donovan, Chief of Staff to Supervisor Matt Dorsey. As the complainant stated, we declare no contest. The request unfortunately did make it into our spam box. I want to assure the complainant and the task force members that the supervisor's email is actively monitored. The recommendation is well taken to create a flag for certain keywords. We will take that to heart, and we will put some processes in place to make sure that our spam box is being checked more often. But again, we declare no contest. And as soon as staff was alerted to the complaint, we responded straight away. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Is
Thank you.
anybody on the online committee speaking on behalf of the respondent?
We have no hands raised.
All right. The matter is before us.
May I?
Please, Mr. Member Pilpel.
Okay. So once again, the initial request doesn't seem to be in the packet. I think we should be sure that that happens. I also noticed on page 7 of the packet, Ms. Peterson, if you could go there for a second. At the top, the file number is correct, but I believe this one is Petrellis against Supervisor Matt Dorsey. If we could fix that on the complaint summary.
Noted.
Okay, thanks. And then to Ms. Donovan, did you happen to hear the previous case in the discussion we just had with Supervisor Fielder's staff?
I did, yes.
Okay, all right. So we don't have to rerun all of that. So thank you. And I think this is remarkably similar, except for the differences.
Mm-hmm. And Ms. Donovan, do you guys have a records request dedicated email yet?
We don't, and that's not something that I think most offices have, but it's something that we will certainly consider. And I think that after this meeting, I will follow up with the clerk of the board to see.
Most departments do have that, but
Most departments, but not most members of the Board of Supervisors, I don't believe.
True. It wouldn't hurt though.
Not a bad idea at all. So
Or having some other way to flag stuff, because even if you have that box in place.
Yeah, I think she mentioned that, like
Yeah.
some search parameters within incoming emails. Exactly.
If I may add, if through the chair of the committee, there have been times in the past where if we get like a mass number of emails or we're BCC'd on emails, they sometimes get siphoned off into spam. So the point is well taken that our spam inboxes should be checked more frequently. And I think, having a dedicated email or at least putting a note up on our websites of where sunshine requests should go to, I think that would be very helpful. So their suggestion is well taken.
Thank you.
Could I just add briefly,
Member Pilpel?
to that? In fact, if you're able to resolve either the separate box question or at least having some generic language on the main page under staff, whatever, for the supervisor that says something about public records, to inquire about public records, including immediate disclosure requests and calendars and whatnot, we recommend the following. Please send it to Dorsey staff or whoever you want it sent to. This would get you a more prompt or better response. In any event, whatever language you come up with there, if you could share that with the other offices and maybe get that more standardized on each of the members' web pages, that might be, for the good of everyone.
Suggestion well taken. I will follow up with the clerk of the board. So thank you.
It may be beyond the particular scope of this, but maybe it gives somebody a little project to work on over recess.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Ms. Donovan, since you are still on the mic, we're going to, I think, go straight to rebuttals. You get to go first and up to 3 minutes if you have any additional thoughts on this.
I don't. Thank you, though.
Okay. And next member, Mr. Petrellis.
Mr. Petrellis, would you like to offer a rebuttal?
Yes, I would.
Your 3 minutes begins now.
Hi again. I believe the responsibility with the clerk of the board at this point is to develop language that every member of the board should have on their official government website that says, to make a public records request, here is how you do it. And then each member should have that information on their landing page or on their contact us page, where it clearly says public records requests should be sent to Dorsey staff at SF.gov, whatever the address is. And I think that it would be a terrific step forward for good government to have voluntary compliance with each member of the board. Because I did check all of their sites maybe 4 months ago to see if any of them had such information, how to file a records request, and they don't have that. But I think guidance from Angela could help the supervisors and their staffs have a uniform policy, which would also greatly help we, the public, knowing there's a uniform policy with each member that they follow, making it easy for us to say, oh, let me make the request to that address for this record. And we'd see much better transparency and accountability, and there's nothing wrong with that. Thank you. That's what I want to say.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Petrellis. Members? Member Pilpel.
Sorry, one other thing I noticed in the packet, Ms. Peterson, if you could go to page 3 in the packet, the email from.
1 moment, please.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, the email from Ms. Donovan. Hello, we declare no contest. Please see the attached correspondence. The attachments above refer to some image that I probably don't care about, but there's a second attachment, reply, immediate disclosure request, Andre Hernandez Romero records.msg. That may be the attachment that was being referred to, but I don't see that in the packet. So if we could maybe spin that out and include that. Sometimes attachments, whether they're PDF or whatever other format, don't always make it in, and that may be relevant here.
Noted.
Okay.
Yeah, to that, it looks like that would have been, I think the MSG is a Outlook thing. So it looks like that's probably the response to Mr. Petrellis, which is exactly what we were looking for in the prior ones. I think
Right.
You're absolutely right.
Other than that, I think this is remarkably similar to the previous case. I'm prepared to make the motion if that's in order.
Please go ahead.
Okay. That's to find jurisdiction that this is a public records matter, to find a 67.25A violation, and to send this to the consent calendar. No follow-up required. We don't have to say no follow-up, but it's just to cut it at consent calendar.
Seconded.
All right.
And once again, thank you to Supervisor Dorsey's office for collaborating. And to Mr. Petrellis for bringing this. Very good.
Public comment?
Public comment, please.
We have no one in the room. Anyone online wishing to make public comment on item 5, file number 25047? Please raise your hand in the app or press *3. We have one hand raised. Hello, caller. Do you wish to make public comment on item 5?
Sullivan, yes.
Hello, Mr. Sullivan.
I want to go.
3 minutes? Your 3 minutes begins now, Mr. Sullivan.
Yeah, I didn't want to speak on this initial request, and things are missing, and it's going to happen all the way through because no one in the public knows what this is. It's not in the complaint form. and we don't get to see the agenda packet until it comes out 72 hours before. So it'd be helpful to have like initial record requests, because at first I thought it was initial complaint request. But this is going to happen. I looked at the other ones coming up, and this is going to happen again and again. So you're not going to get the initial record request because you're not. It's not your complaint. Your complaint procedures does not indicate anything like this. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
All right, let's take a roll.
We have no other hands raised. Taking the vote on item 5, file number 25047. Member Pilpel.
Aye.
Member Pilpel, aye. Member Yankee.
Aye.
Member Yankee, aye. Chair Hyland.
Aye.
Chair Hyland, aye. 3 ayes.
Mr. Chair. Just a question. I think it's up to your discretion at this point. Did we want to do the Petrellis HRC matter if they're here, or do we want to proceed to the two NEHA matters?
That's right. We have a third Petrellis case. And do we have anyone from HRC here
We have a representative from the Human Rights Commission.
online right now?
Correct.
Okay. We also have another Sullivan case.
No.
That's what we heard.
Sorry, I apologize. Yeah, I'm in favor of that since Mr. Petrellis was gracious enough to let us put Mr. Sullivan before him. Someone like to make a motion to that effect?
I'll make a motion to hear
I think you.
file number 25052 next.
If we need to do it by motion, I'm happy to do that. My opinion is still that the chair can rearrange items without a motion and a vote and whatever. I think.
All right,
you have
let's
that
let's
discretion.
exercise that authority this time. So,
Yeah.
To members of the public listening, we are going to hear file 25052, item 10 on the agenda. Next, in the interests of efficiency.
Hello, Ms. Zinzavadia. Have I reached you?
Hi, Secretary Peterson. Good evening,
Good
committee.
evening. One moment, please. I'm going to promote you to panelist. You'll be able to mute and unmute yourself. One moment. Checking for a clarification. Hello, caller, confirming that this is Mr. Sullivan and that I may unmute you. That
Mr.
You have
Petrellis.
spoken.
Mr. Petrellis.
Mr. Petrellis, you mean?
Yes, please mute.
Thank you. That was on the previous public
Oh,
comment.
I see. Yep. Yeah, that should have been muted. So is Mr. Petrellis still with us?
He is still online.
Yes, I'm here.
All right, wonderful. Okay, we're going to start on item number 10. Bear with us one second.
Item number 10, file number 25052, complaint filed by Michael Petrellis against the Human Rights Commission for allegedly violating Administrative Code Sunshine Ordinance, Section 67.29-5, by failing to respond to a request for a Proposition G calendar in a timely and/or complete manner.
And it shows the initial request as page 2, but that's not the initial request. I don't think.
I think I was putting those in as placeholders awaiting the
Gotcha.
documents. I'll correct that going forward.
All right. Okay, go ahead and give Mr. Petrellis. And Madam Clerk, let's announce it as you have up to 5 minutes. That way they don't feel like they have to fill the full 5 minutes unless they want to.
Mr. Petrellis, you have up to 5 minutes. Are you ready for your time to begin?
Yes, I am.
Your time begins now.
Hi, this is Michael Petrellis. This complaint is a matter of timeliness. The Human Rights Commission did not provide me with documents as they said they would by June 10th, as it says here on page 3. I've been scanning through the attachment here, and I don't see the complaint about the separate matter of a Prop G calendar for Honey Mahogany, who is the head of the quote-unquote department or agency that is the Transgender Initiative position in City Hall. So I wanted two things, and I believe I filed two separate requests. The first for, excuse me, the first for any records about Andre Hernandez Romero, and then the separate request was for Honey Mahogany's calendar, which I have not received. So those are the issues before you, and I believe that for the complaint about any records related to Andre Hernandez, it's a matter of timeliness, and for the calendar of Honey Mahogany, yes, a matter of timeliness and no responsive records. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is anybody online in support of Mr. Petrellis?
Please raise your hand in the app or press *3. We have no hands raised.
Okay. Good.
Ms. Inzubadia, and I apologize if I am mispronouncing your name. Are you ready for your up to 5 minutes?
I am, Madam Clerk, and you're pronouncing my last name perfectly. Thank you.
Thank you. Your time begins now.
Thanks, Madam Clerk. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, members. Good evening, Mr. Petrellis and all. Davies and Zuvadia, Public Information Officer and Custodian of Records for the San Francisco Human Rights Commission, answering complaint 25052. As mentioned, just to raise this first, there is no Prop G calendar issue within this complaint as written. Relative to the Andre Hernandez Romero and Commonwealth Club and El Salvador and other search terms that Mr. Petrellis provided. So I just wanted to reference that. And then secondly, just an administrative point.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Just to also lift up an administrative point, the response memo that the Human Rights Commission submitted and followed up twice thereafter is not a part of the meeting materials. So the committee is not able to review the memo in front of them or previous to the meeting. And that's fine. I just wanted to lift up those 2 points as I make HRC's response. So
can you pause for a second? Hold on. They're actually linked in there as hyperlinks.
No, I'm aware, but what I'm saying with respect to HRC's response is that the full response is not a part of the agenda linked materials within the agenda.
They are.
We see it unless it's
something else. Yeah, there were a number of communications, but in any event, I'll just use my time to affirm that Human Rights Commission denies that the request was not fulfilled in a complete manner. HRC answers no contest that this request was not fulfilled in a timely manner. And again, we assert that there's no Proposition G calendar issue within the original request. And as such, there should not be any such issue included in this complaint. There were produced to Mr. Petrellis about 70 records in total, more than 550 pages in total. So responsive to every part of his request for public records. I'm happy to speak to either the administrative issues I've raised or the issues of response that I've raised. Thank you, committee. Thank you, clerk.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Is Is there anyone speaking on behalf of the respondent? Anyone on the online community?
Anyone wishing to speak, please raise your hand in the app or press *3. We have no hands raised.
All right. Matters before us. Member Yankee.
Mr. Petrellis, just to get the Prop G calendar thing out of the way first, just so we're all focusing on the same thing. I do not see anything about Prop G in this packet. I don't know if that was an administrative oversight, but it probably should be a separate complaint anyways, because it's very different than an IDR for certain records.
Okay.
So if it's okay with you, are you fine with us concentrating on the immediate disclosure request portion for the Hernandez Romero records? And if there is a Prop G thing, can you consider that as a separate complaint to Administrator Peterson?
Correct. Separate complaint. And what we're dealing here is only with the records related to Andre Hernandez Romero.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Mr. Petrellis. So for the respondent, I guess I'm confused when you say we weren't seeing responses that you were giving. If you can scroll to page 11 of the PDF, I do see that the Human Rights Commission responded to the IDR the same day, in fact, and said that they would provide a response or determination within 10 days or before March 27th, and said that it's not simple, routine, or otherwise readily available.
Yes.
Okay, so I see that.
No, member, forgive me. I'll just make I'm referring to the response to the committee, the response to the complaint. That's what I was referring to when I was saying that our response memo is not in the materials before you.
Got it. Okay. But then I don't see anything before, on or before May 27th. The next thing I see in that email chain is June 2nd to Mr. Petrellis, invoking another extension. So my question to you is was there anything sent to Mr. Petrellis on May 27th or before?
So you're asking us to timeliness of response?
Yes, this would be
Yeah.
timeliness. Yes.
So the answer, so we deny that the request was not fulfilled in a complete manner, and we answer no contest as to the timeliness question.
Okay, so essentially that your position is that everything has been turned over, but you admit that.
We answer
Didn't do
no
it timely.
contest to the timeliness issue.
Got it. Okay, that's all I have. Thank you.
Member Pilko?
Yep. I think we're moving quickly, but this is good. A few things. If we're going to make this not about the Prop G calendar issue, and I'll comment on that in a second, could we perhaps, is it within our purview to suggest that this item be recaptioned as for allegedly violating the Administrative Code Section 67.25 or 25A for failing to respond to an immediate disclosure request in a timely or complete manner? Because if this gets to the task force as a 29-5 thing,
Right.
it's going to be much more confusing.
Absolutely agree. Yeah,
Okay.
this is, the description on the agenda is not appropriate for what is
Okay.
before us, so it needs to be changed
Okay.
to reflect. that.
So,
Right. And that was
Peter-
pointed out in the response memo.
got it. Okay. So Ms. Peterson, can you arrange to wave the magic wand and make that happen?
Yes, 67.29-5 will be changed to 67.25A.
Good. And I think that is, or just 67.25, so that it's consistent with Mr. Petrellis's other complaints that we just heard, because it's roughly the same kind of thing. I think those just referred to 67.25. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
It does not matter?
25 or 25A is essentially the same.
It could be either.
Yes.
That's not,
Okay.
not about that.
A couple other things. To Mr. Petrellis, I don't want to prejudge any future complaint, but let me just remind you that Prop G calendars are pretty much limited to a department head or an acting department head. And unless Honey Mahogany is the department head, that might not go too far. If it's the calendar of Mawuli, then that's a different question. So that's just for you for the future.
All
Okay.
right.
Mr. Member, would you like me to help with the answer to that question relative to Ms. Mahogany and her staff role?
Sure.
This is not the venue. I mean, this is not what we're meant to be talking about, but Ms. Mahogany is she's the director of the division of the Office of Transgender Initiatives.
Understood, but not a department head.
Correct.
City. Okay.
That's exactly right.
Okay.
Member Pilpel,
Anyway,
yes.
just to minimize that, and to Ms. Zinzuvadia.
Yes.
Okay. A couple of just minor things on the memo to the task force. We do have it. We've seen it. In the future, if you could just be sure to put a date on it, that would help with all the other materials, because I've got 500 pages of stuff here, and just a date on that. And just finally, in response to emails to HRC-public records, it looks like a number of those responses must have come from you. Some of them say my best Devi, but they generally don't have a name and title. So if you could just make it general practice when responding from a generic email box like that to include your name and title. I've asked for that in general so that people can tie these things to actual people rather than just it came from a generic mailbox.
As a best practice?
Yeah. I'd appreciate that.
Okay.
That's all.
Moving on. Do we have a motion?
Did we do rebuttals?
We did. I believe we did. We didn't. We are moving fast. All right. Debbie, you get to go first. You have up to 3 minutes. Ms. Peterson will let you know when you're ready.
Are you ready for your 3 minutes?
Oh, certainly, Madam Clerk.
Your time begins now.
Okay. Thank you again to the committee and to Clerk Peterson and to Mr. Petralis. Just reviewing again that relative to this complaint 25052, HRC denies that the request was not fulfilled in a complete manner, answers no contest that this request was not fulfilled in a timely manner, and again asserts there's no Prop G calendar issue within the original request, and so this issue should not be included in this complaint, in complaint 25052. Thank you again for your time.
Thank you. Mr. Petralis, are you ready for your 3-minute rebuttal?
Yes, I am.
Your time begins now.
Hi, Michael again. I want to point out that on page 32 of the document, you'll see that the Human Rights Commission sent me this link to the Dropbox. And I want to point out this is really terrific because, first of all, I wasn't going through next request. I just don't like that third party. Yeah. That the city is using. So having this public agency communicate with me directly, not through next request, and that the Dropbox was something I could click onto, open, read these documents. These were the responsive records I thought existed, and they did. So having easy access to them is really, really appreciated. That's what I want to say. Thank you.
Oh, and if I could respond to Mr. Petralis's comment,
Chris?
If I may.
Yes, you may.
Thank you for lifting that up, Mr. Petralis. We find that having that additional, platform availability can be helpful to a lot of our constituents and other requesters. So glad to hear that feedback, and I'll share that along. And I agree that ease of use via the Dropbox platform is certainly there. And just again, to Member Pilpel's point, if you ever, my direct number, the email address, where we are at the office, you can always feel very free to reach out to us via those methods, in addition to following up by email. So you're always very welcome to do that through all those modalities And thanks again for the feedback. It's very helpful.
All right.
Yes, yes.
Okay, Pat, if you cut the mic. Yeah. All right.
Thank you.
Member Yankee.
Okay, so I think this is very similar to the prior ones. I just wanted to say to both Mr. Petrellis and to all the respondents we've heard so far in these, I think this has been a very good educational experience. I'm glad this is coming before this committee. I think it's good to see both respondents and petitioners working together, and when there are problems that they're identified and there's solutions that are proposed going forward. So I think there's been a kind of a good exercise in all that. But I would support, I don't want Member Pilfeld talk before I make the motion, but I would support a motion along the lines of the other ones where we would send them to consent for 6725A.
That sounded like a motion to me.
I'm sorry, that was a second by Chair Highland?
No,
I didn't know if Member Pilfeld wanted.
I had some comments, but I'm happy to hear the motion.
Okay, all right, so I'll just make the motion then, and then you can take every comment. I won't cut you off, but all right, I will move to find jurisdiction. The regular records are public. To find a violation of 6725A for timeliness, and to send this to the consent agenda for the full task force.
Chair Highland will second that. Member Pilpel, if you can make this brief.
Yep. So in addition to my previous comments, I just think, and thank you again to both parties, all of that.
You don't need to do that.
And willingness to continue to improve. None of this is perfect or set in stone. I think we're always iterating, as they might say. But I think this is an excellent example of where something comes in as an immediate disclosure request, needed a timely response, acknowledging, but an extension was invoked. Perhaps it wasn't provided within the appropriate extension period, but yielding 70 files and 500 pages of stuff and lots of, detailed disclosure related to the topic is, in my view, exactly what should happen with an IDR. So it doesn't convert an IDR to a regular request. It simply means that an IDR sometimes has documents that are immediately available, which should be disclosed pretty much immediately, and sometimes takes time to root out and find stuff, which is when an extension is appropriate. And so that part of it I have no issue with. And once again, I thank staff for their work, and I am not insensitive to the fact that there's still stuff going on at HRC, and I'm sure that they're still buried in requests and issues and complicated stuff, and responding to public records requests as timely as possible is still a goal, but something like facts, and circumstances can occasionally get in the way. So I appreciate all of that. So thank you.
All right. Public comment on that motion, please.
Anyone wishing to make public comment on item 10, file number 25052, please raise your hand in the app or press star 3. We have no one in the room.
All
And
right.
We have one moment, please. I want to remind the members of the online community that we are not using the chat box. Any written statements in WebEx are not visible by the public or anyone in the room. If you'd like to speak, please raise your hand in the app or press star 3.
This is public comment on the motion on the floor.
Caller, I want to confirm, do you wish to make public comment on item 10, file 25052? Caller, do you wish to make public comment? Caller, I'm muting your phone. We have no hands raised.
Okay, let's take the roll.
Taking the vote on item 10, file 25052. Member Yankee.
Aye.
Member Yankee, aye. Chair Highland.
Aye.
Chair Highland, aye. Member Pilpel.
Aye.
Member Pilpel, aye. 3 ayes.
All right. Thank you both for attending.
Thank
Next
you.
item, please.
Thank you,
Yes,
parties.
thank you. Thank you.
All right.
Item 6.
Please.
Item 6, file number 25035, complaint filed by Paul Neha against San Francisco Municipal Transportation Agency for allegedly violating Administrative Code Sunshine Ordinance, Section 67.21, by failing to respond to a public records request in a timely and/or complete manner. Mr. Neha, if you are in the online community, please raise your hand in the app or press *3. Mr. Neha, are you present? One moment, please. Hello, caller. Is this Mr. Neha?
Yes, this is Paul Knihan.
Hello. One moment, please. I'm promoting you to panelist.
Okay.
Is there a representative from the Municipal Transportation Agency in the online community or in the room? Please raise your hand in the app or press *3. We have no hands raised.
All right. Let's go ahead and start with Mr. Kniha.
One moment, please.
I'm sorry. Did we not have someone?
We do not. I'm going to give him a chance to join in or not, but let's hear from Mr. Kniha since he's here.
Mr. Neha, you have 5 minutes. Are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Your 5 minutes begins now.
Good evening, everyone. The SFMTA Color Curve program operates on a cost recovery basis, meaning that the agency is required to track all of the costs of running the program, FTE of all employees, plus benefits and overhead, and all non-labor costs, and compare them with the total number of cases that they process to come up with the fees for the services that they provide every fiscal year. They're not allowed to use general funds for a program that is supposed to pay for itself. I have submitted a request to provide the following: all costs broken down to the most detailed level available, and the total cost of running the Color Curve program since July 1st, 2024, and the most to the most recent available date. I stated that project costs are okay if actuals are not available, meaning if the time hasn't if time hasn't passed yet for the information that I'm looking for, then it's okay to provide estimates if they came up with them. I also ask for all revenues collected by the program and the policy documenting the documents reflecting adherence to the cost recovery basis for the same period. Staff has provided fiscal year 2023 actual numbers of permits issued and revenue collected to date in fiscal 2025. They did not provide costs broken down to the most detailed level available, i.e. costs by staff members, salaries, overhead, etc. The total cost of running the Color Curve program since July 2024 and the most recent to the most recent available date. And they did not provide performance metric showing the total number of requests by month and number of requests addressed within 30 days. I asked to denote those months in which the 90% target has not been met. The agency claimed that the on-time performance requirements from Prop E are for Munibus and train service, not for the Color Curve program. And I had to point them to the San Francisco Charter, Section 8A 103, Service Standards and Accountability, number 11, which outlines the agency duties related to parking and traffic functions and other functions that may be added to the agency responsibilities and to the and I also pointed them to the SFMTA website,
where they tracked and displayed percentage of streets-related customer requests addressed within timely standards, and where they said the targets addressed 90% of color curb requests within 30 days, among other metrics that they track and displayed on their website. This data has been tracked and reported since the color curb program became a part of SFMTA as a result of Prop E. I have reasons to believe that the agency is misusing public funds and spending them on the cost recovery programs and does not meet the timeliness standards, and that they're withholding these records in order to conceal their violations and inadequate performance in processing customer requests. The Sunshine Ordinance requires the city to disclose budget, whether tentative, proposed, or adopted for the city or any department, program, project, or any other category per Admin Code 67.24F. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody
Thank you.
in the room or on the online community speaking on behalf of the plaintiff? Please raise your hands if you are.
We have no one approaching the podium, no hands raised.
Okay. And one more time, is there anyone from Ms. Celaya's office?
Is anyone present from the San Francisco Municipal Transportation Agency for item 6, file number 25035? We have no one approaching the podium, no hands raised.
Okay. The matter is before us.
We have a chat. One more reminder, we are not accepting chats in the WebEx platform. They are not visible by anyone in the room or the members of the public. If you wish to speak, raise your hand. I'll call on you.
I wonder if we can turn that off.
Caller, do you wish to make public comment?
Administrator Peterson, is the chat like an SFMTA representative who's trying to,
Is it relevant?
is it relevant to, yeah.
One moment. One moment, please. It is not.
Okay, thank you. All right, the matter is before us. Members, how would you like to proceed with this? I mean, I think we can package it and send it as we see fit to the full task force, and hopefully someone from MTA will show up at that hearing. We can also have a recommendation of not sending, noting that someone was not sent, knowledgeable was not sent, which I think is 6-7.
So I have a question for Mr. Neha.
I do too.
And Mr. Neha, is it Kaniha or is it Neha? I know we've talked many times over the years, but I think I heard you say something different when you first came online.
Yes, it's actually Kniha, so it's your best effort to pronounce that silent K, which is not silent in my last name.
One more time?
Silent K that's not.
No, not you, member Bill. Mr. Paul, one more time, your last name?
Yes, so it's Kniha, and you
I was right.
make your best effort to pronounce the K. Yes.
Kaniha, I got it.
Yes, there we go. Thank you very much.
All right. Member Yankee,
I noted it.
you had a question for Mr. Kaniha.
Yes. Okay. So my question is, there is looks like a written response that we received from SFMTA on, it's dated May 27th. And just so you know where I'm at in the packet, it's PDF page 12, 13, 14, 15. But what I'm most interested in is on PDF page 13. In response to what records have you provided in response to the request, and what did you provide them? They have a little chart there showing that they provided you records on 4/28/2025, 4/28/2025, and then 5/20 of 2025. And it's the fiscal year 2025 revenue to date, fiscal year 2025 fee schedule, and fiscal year 25-26 cost recovery calculation. So my question to you is, did you actually receive those records on those dates? And if you did, what records do you believe are still outstanding that are necessary to fulfill your initial records request, if those do not? But essentially, what I'm trying to say is this a timeliness thing, or are there still other records that you believe exist out there that aren't covered by what they said they sent to you?
I believe that there are other records that are still outstanding, and what they sent is a very small portion of the information that I requested.
Okay, so what
I would
do you
say it's
believe-
about 25%.
Okay, so what do you believe, as specifically as you can, is still outstanding as related to your initial records request, which looks like it had 3 parts, that's not covered by those records?
So I don't have the cost breakdown. I don't have the, I believe they provided an estimate, not an actual number, for the past period, basically since July 1st. So those numbers exist in the system. They know how much, what was the actual cost. So they should not be just a projection. And I still do not have any policy programs reflecting adherence to the cost recovery program, cost recovery basis. Basically, the analysis of whether their revenues are indeed reflecting their projections. Are they short? Is there overrun? None of that. None of those documents have been provided, and they did not provide performance metrics since July 1st, 2024. Any at all, and they obviously they're not providing them. They are not denoting the number of months where they didn't meet the. They're not specifying the months within in which they did not meet the 90% target. As
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Member Philpott. Yeah.
Okay, so I guess 3 things. At some point, we might want to consider a 21E violation for MTA not participating. Number 2, as was stated in the MTA's response on page 12, clearly MTA is not particularly crazy about Mr. Kaniha, a former employee, but I don't think that's particularly relevant here. If Mr. Kaniha has reasonable requests about budgets and how things are funded and cost recovery and all that, I think that's entirely appropriate, and that's what he basically asked for. Going to Mr. Kaniha's requests, it looks to me like the first area was costs. Since July 1, 2024, projected costs are okay if actuals are not available. So unless I'm, 1 second. Yeah. So that looks like the request was for essentially fiscal year 2024, 2025. In area 2, revenues collected for the same period. So that's again 2024, 2025. And then the third is performance metrics, et cetera.
Is there a question in this?
Yeah. So, Mr. Kaniha, how does the I understand the revenue to date. How would the fiscal 25 fee schedule or the fiscal 25-26 cost recovery calculation, how does that help you, or how does that respond to your request? Does it?
It doesn't. It's not exactly what I was asking for. It is a number that can help. The numbers that they're showing in the table, they can help to start gathering the data necessary to answer my questions, but they certainly do not answer my question.
And perhaps the fiscal 24-25 cost recovery calculation might be more on point, and then you could compare the revenues and the expenses to their projection as related to the cost recovery calculation?
Exactly.
Okay.
This
As
would be
to,
much more helpful. That's what I was looking for.
okay, that made sense to me. As to the performance metrics, on page 41 of the packet, I think you referenced Charter Section 8A.103, service standards and accountability. I think that was sub 11 there, where the service standards were not limited to transit operations, but those related to parking and traffic functions and any other functions that may be added to the agency's responsibilities, thinking ahead to taxi and whatever other responsibilities were added. And I believe your reference from the MTA website, the percentage of street-related customer requests addressed within timeliness standards, target addressed 90% of color curb requests within 30 days, et cetera. That was an added service standard that the MTA board approved some years ago, in addition to the transit-specific service standards. Is that fairly accurate?
It is accurate.
Okay, and that's what you were looking for, is the specific data underlying whether they achieved 90% of color curb requests addressed within 30 days, which is their adopted service standard. That's exactly what you were looking for since July 1, 2024.
That's exactly what I'm looking for, yes.
Okay, so in as much as those, at least items 1 and 3 were not provided, I'm tending to think that there's a substantive violation here for failure to produce those records. And I'm thinking about 21E. I'm sorry, was I supposed to ask a question?
And I think this is question time, not deliberation.
Yeah. Okay. I think I'm done with my questions. Sorry. I don't always get this right, Ed.
All right. Member Yankee, did you have anything?
No.
Okay. Well, let's go ahead and hear a rebuttal from you, Mr. Kaniha, since you are here. And then we'll make one last call for MTA.
Mr. Kaniha, are you ready for your 3-minute rebuttal period?
Yes, I am.
Your time begins now.
I just wanted to reiterate the fact that I am simply looking for very basic information that is supposed to be available to general public without needing to go through the sunshine procedure. This is the data that has been mandated to be collected. It is pretty much one of not too many performance metrics that are trackable and that are meaningful, and that can reflect and show how effective the program is and how responsive they are to the requests from the general public. It also has to do with how the program is funded. Okay, sorry. How the program is funded, and that program is on cost recovery basis for a reason. This is how it was specifically created, and the agency has no right to just simply start using general funds to cover the shortages if they exist, and I believe, based on information that I have, they do exist, and the agency has to be held accountable. This is the taxpayers' money, and this is the service that they're providing to the taxpayers in return to the funds, to the taxes that we pay, and this is bread and butter, bare bones responsibility. If we can't hold them accountable to disclose those numbers, then there is no oversight, there is no responsibility, there is no accountability, and that's what I'm looking for. And the agency claims that I'm doing this in retaliation. All I'm asking is to provide the information that the agency is responsible for and supposed to provide to general public. And my past employment has nothing to do with this. And I'm acting purely as a citizen now, a
30
concerned
seconds.
citizen, and in no any other capacity. I thank you for your time and consideration of this.
Thank you.
Thank you. And then one last call for anyone from the MTA on the online community.
We have no hands raised.
Okay. Member Yankee.
Okay, I just wanted to call the task force members' attention to page 36. There is a response on Friday, July 18th from Caroline Salaya saying, in part, because we have provided all responsive records, there's nothing to discuss. We are not planning to attend the SOTF meeting. So they made it very clear that they do not intend to participate in this project, this process, which I do find concerning. Yeah. Now that being said, I'm personally unsure of whether or not we've really gotten to the heart of if there's additional responsive records or non-additional responsive records. They're asserting, obviously, in the same response that there are no responsive records, that they provided them on a rolling basis. That's, rolling basis is what we've asked for. So I'm kind of not feeling comfortable one way or the other to make a ruling on that portion of it. I wish that they would send someone so that we could get this figured out. That all being said, to the petitioner, I noticed in his rebuttal or final response here that there was some talk about using funds improperly and so forth and so on. And we've heard this before when we've had people ask for information and a department says they can't turn them, that there are no responsive records. And then we get something back from the petitioner talking about, well, that must mean they aren't following a rule or that the contract isn't being followed. And that's not something that we can adjudicate here. If they're saying that the records don't exist, it's quite possible that the records don't exist. And it might be that they're not following the accounting practices they should or the funding practices they should. And there's certainly ways to, make a complaint, I believe, with the controller's office if you believe that funds are being improperly spent and all that. That's not saying that we still can't proceed to see if whether or not these records do or do not exist. But I just want to throw that out there too, that portion of this is definitely outside of what the task force can adjudicate. We can only talk about whether or not the records do or do not exist. And if they don't exist, like I said, that might be a violation of another law, but that's outside of what we can do here.
Thank you, Member Yankee. Member Bill, I imagine you have something to say.
A few brief thoughts. First of all, on page 4 of the packet, since we've been talking a little bit about next request, bottom left, staff assigned, yes, SFMTA, but I believe Ms. Arlene Likudine Barker is actually an employee of the Department of Technology, not MTA. So I continue to be pretty convinced that next request is buggy and is not at all perfect and, maybe relied on generally to request and respond with records, but is certainly no more perfect than how it's designed and how it's used. So I'm not particularly impressed with next request. As to this particular request, as I think I alluded to in my questions, I think the revenue to date was provided, but the costs and the performance metrics were not. And whether or not they have exactly what Mr. Kaniha is looking for, or something close, this is, I think, a good example of need to clarify or follow up or provide assistance under 67.21C. And the department, whatever they think of Mr. Kaniha, could have said, we don't have exactly that, but we've got something close. It is this. It would reflect something. Is this, useful? I mean, or something to that effect. I think they have an obligation to respond greater than what they've done. So I think we've got some options here. MTA could do more on this in the next couple of weeks or in the next 6 weeks if this is not going until August or September to the full task force. We could recommend one or more violations. We could propose that this goes to the full task force either without a recommendation or not on the consent calendar and have a full hearing and request that MTA attend. Chair Yankee, I take the MTA response, but I'm not persuaded by that. And I'm not sure that in this case, they get to decide that they've provided all responsive records and they're not going to attend. I'm not aware that that's.
No, I don't think they can. I mean, they certainly have to attend now if they want to come in and give us a.
If they wanted to say, we're not going to contest this, so we're not going to appear, that's different. And I've got some issues with that. But in this case, they're not even saying that.
Right. I think you need to, if you're going to make the argument there are no responsive records that you have yet to turn over.
Right.
Or have not turned over yet, then I think you need to come and make that argument. So.
And I don't care whether it's Ms. Celaya, Mr. Wilson, Diana Hammonds, somebody else from budget or finance. MTA is a big agency with a lot of arms, and somebody presumably has done both cost recovery analysis to support the budget for the current year and has access to revenue and expense reports and performance metrics. So to suggest that it's all done and there's nothing to talk about, if Mr. Kaniha filed the complaint because he was unsatisfied that he got the requested records, I think there's some there.
So. Or they should come on record and state, we don't have performance metrics. We don't calculate these things, and be on record to say that, right? Which people have said that before. But I think that's what we need to get to heart. So I think that this needs to go to the full task force. I'm not making a motion yet, but this is what I'm thinking we need to do. I think this needs to go to the full task force. I think we need to either we find the violation here of 6721E, or we instruct Administrator Peterson to inform SFMTA that their failure to attend the upcoming hearing will result in the task force likely finding that type of violation. But I think we need to have a serious discussion here. I absolutely agree, Member Pelpel. I don't think you get just to say, we don't have any more records and I'm washing my hands of this, and that's just what it is.
And I'm not particularly interested in, and maybe I'm a little farther downfield, I'm not interested in sending this to ethics or doing anything to Ms. Celaya. I think that there are actually records that Mr. Kaniha has asked for that most likely exist in some way, in some form, that haven't been provided. That doesn't seem unlikely to me. So,
and as if the letter's accurate, they provided many of these records to Mr. Kaniha before, then it should be very easy to find them and just go back to the prior response and grab it from there. So,
right. I suspect that for all of the various programs that the city has, and there are a number of them that are where a fee is set at a cost recovery basis, that there has to be analysis that's provided to the controller's office. It's done as part of the budget calculations. So that should exist for the current year, and they should have budget and actual. I mean, this is not requesting outrageous, crazy stuff. And it is, in fact, a 67.24F budgets and other financial information, whether tentative, approved, proposed, or whatever, shall be made available. That's a basic item that Mr. Kaniha properly referenced in Sunshine. It's his budget information, and if he's particularly interested in this program and how the cost allocation is done, I think he's entitled to it. So, Chair Hyland, what do you think?
I'm looking again at page 13 and 14, respondents' detailed response to the search. Who performed the search is within SFMTA, how they did it. It's pretty detailed there. And I, for one, can see why they're like, we got nothing else to say. Here's how we did it. I mean, that's starting to persuade me a little bit. You know, I realize Mr. Kaniha has inside knowledge of the department and what tools were available to him at the time. I appreciate that. And that I think is the basis of his determination that there are records that are still not been produced. However, I think in any other case, if a department went to this level of detail to explain what they sent, how they sent it, how they did their searches, we may not be having this discussion. And we've got there on other cases in the past, as Member Yankee will remember. So I'm just giving you a devil's advocate side to this.
Right, like to your point, Chair Hyland, and to the point I was trying to make earlier as well, on page 14, it says, for instance, in their response, it says, to note the months in which the 90% target has not been met, the SFMTA does not track this metric, so there's no responsive record. So that's what I was saying. It may or may not be that they have to track some of these, but that's not our decision to make. It's do they or don't they have records to track it? Yeah. I don't know if they have to track it or not, and if there's a consequence for them not doing so. Mr. Kaniha can take that up elsewhere. So I'm not comfortable either way on this one, saying there is or is not really a violation, but I wish they were here to expand upon this. So I'm probably not in the same place Member Popel is.
And maybe part of it is that I've spent, the majority of my life following the MTA and their budgets in great detail and all of that. So whether or not they have it by month or simply have some information on when that 90% target has been met, if it's an adopted service standard, then there's some reporting around that and some tracking around that, however they do it. And to Chair Hyland, although the line Diana Hammonds conducted a file search for color curb cost recovery, great. It may be that this cost recovery information wasn't in a file that was labeled color curb cost recovery. It was in some other budget document. And to my recollection, Diana Hammonds is now the head of revenue. I don't know who's the current head of budget and analysis, but they're a large department. Somebody should be here to explain this. And they may say, we don't have exactly this, but we've got something close, which, may well have satisfied Mr. Kaniha. Mm-hmm. Is the bottom line that we should send this out without recommendation, ask that MTA attend, send appropriate staff that can answer these questions, and not make a recommendation? I mean, I can go either way on this. I don't think we have enough information.
And we've gone either way on past cases.
Yeah.
With MTA.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we have enough information as it is. I think SFMTA is asserting that they do not have responsive records. I think there's reason to believe that's true. I think there's reason to believe that could be not true. And without them here, it's hard to make that determination, which is why the Sunshine Ordinance says they have to appear. So I don't think we should try to guess on this one. I think we should send this to the full task force without a recommendation, but make clear that SFMTA must send a representative pursuant to 6721E.
Or more than one with knowledge of the
Right. So it says there's a representative that can speak specifically to these issues in this complaint.
Yeah, I mean, I think certainly 6721E is appropriate, and we'll let the full task force decide when and if they don't show, then what we do with it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
Okay, so how about this? I'll make a motion that we have jurisdiction, that the records are public, to refer this file to the full task force for a hearing, and to warn the SFMTA that not sending a knowledgeable representative to the full hearing would be a violation of 6721E.
That's 6721E.
Yes. And not as part of my motion, but if Ms. Peterson, if you do have conversations back and forth with SFMTA on this, if you could stress the fact that they need to show up for that they can't just make the response, we've sent everything, we're not participating anymore, essentially is what they did. They do have to be a participant in this.
And that they may need to send more than one person to address the various issues. It may be that the budget people have the costs and revenues questions, and that there's a different group that tracks performance metrics. That was my last understanding over there.
It could be, but it could be one person who just knows, has been briefed on it, whatever. I'm
That
not
could be
going to
Mr. Wilson.
get
Yeah,
into
that's
that,
fine.
but just that they can't just exempt themselves from 6721.
And they need to be familiar with the
Yeah.
underlying issues. Yeah.
So to clarify the motion, not sending a knowledgeable representative, singular? Or do you want?
Just, yeah, I think the ordinance says knowledgeable representative, so I prefer to stick with the language that's actually in the Sunshine Ordinance, not opine further than that. It says, let's see, hang on. An authorized representative of the custodian of public records shall attend any hearing and explain the basis for its decision to withhold the records request. So an authorized, but it's singular, so.
Replacing knowledgeable with authorized.
We'll say authorized. But
We would.
for the record, that should be someone who
Yes,
can actually speak to this.
we request a knowledgeable. Did you need a second for that?
I think so.
I will so second.
All right. Let's take some public comment on the motion.
Anyone wishing to make public comment on item 6, file 25035? If you're in the room, please approach the podium. We have no one approaching the podium. We have one hand raised online. Hello, caller. Do you wish to comment on item 6?
Yes, tell me when to go.
Your 3 minutes begins now.
Okay, the SFMTA seems to be saying they do not track these metrics and they don't exist in one or more documents, but the data probably exists where the program is not running. The SFMTA's response to the request makes a common mistake in San Francisco that records are specific documents that all information requested on them. They claim no responsive records exist, but requests are also records and information responsive to the purpose of the request. They may not have exact performance metrics from July 1st, 2024, showing total numbers by month and number of requests addressed within 30 days. He noted the months which the 90% target was not met. They may not have that specifically, but they probably have information showing the total number of requests by day or incidents and the number of requests addressed in whatever units since July 1st, 2024. They can give those records over and allow Mr. Kina to assemble the metrics himself. Section 6721C, custodian of record of public records shall assist a requester in identifying the existence, form, and nature of any record or information maintained by, available to, or in the custody of the custodian. The CPRA is actually stronger in this area. Section 7922.600A1 assists the member of the public to identify records and information that are responsive to the request or to the purpose of the request, if stated. So Mr. Neha has definitely stated the purpose of why he wants this data. So you not only have records of information that are responsive, but you also have to the purpose of the request. In this case, performance metrics. They're required to provide information that a performance metric can be produced. Agencies, yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any more requests for public comment? Please raise your hand in the app or press *3. We have no hands raised, no one approaching the podium.
Just briefly, I just wanted to say that I think Mr. Sullivan's public comments here were right on point, and I think it's the point of what Member Pilpo was saying is I think that's specifically what we want to hear SFMTA talk to us about. And hopefully they can do that.
All right, next item.
Taking the vote?
Take a vote.
Taking the vote on item 6, file 25035. Member Yankee.
Aye.
Member Yankee, aye. Member Pilpel.
Aye.
Member Pilpel, aye. Chair Hyland. Chair Hyland, aye. 3 ayes. Item number 7, file 25036, complaint filed by Paul Kaniha against Broderick Paulo and the San Francisco Municipal Transportation Agency for allegedly violating administrative code Sunshine Ordinance Section 67.21 by failing to respond to a public records request in a timely and/or complete manner.
Right. Next item, please.
Would you, Mr. Kaniha is still a panelist, and one more call for a representative from the Municipal Transportation Agency. We have only Mr. Kaniha.
Okay, let's go ahead and hear.
Mr. Kaniha, are you ready for your 5 minutes?
I am.
Your time begins now.
This matter is regarding a specific blue zone change that SFMTA proposed to implement, and it's for 273 Channel Street, and it's an establishment of a blue zone. And I requested the communication, specifically the request that led to the establishment of this zone, and the communication that was provided had only to do with the comments that I provided at the public hearing, and it had nothing to do, and they failed to provide the part that explained how this originated. In their email, they're discussing that these requested blue zones were a resolution with MTA to address their comment on the SWPS number 3 project, where they requested a blue zone closer to number 4 to 4th Street. So this is what I was trying to get. This is information that is important to me to find out what originated the blue zone request. And it's obvious that they're mentioning that there were comments, so that there's a reference that they exist, and it's possibly a resolution. There's those mystical numbers, SWPS number 3, whatever that means. So there's definitely records. There's mentioning of the existing records, but they're not mentioned anywhere in the disclosure. And that's the missing part of my request. I believe that those records are substantial to inform the process by which this proposal has been brought up, and those records do exist, as it's mentioned specifically in an email from Cahill Hennessy from DPW, but the SFMTA has failed to provide those records. So that's why this item is in front of you today. That's the end of my presentation.
Thank you. And is anyone here to speak on behalf of Mr. Kaniha?
We have no one in the room, no hands raised.
Okay, and one last call for a member of the MTA.
We have no one in the room, no hands raised.
Okay, the matter is before us. Member Pilpel.
Yes. I'm sorry we seem to be a little stuck on this, but once again, on the initial request, I get that this was next request number 253130, but all we see is the item has been closed. What we're actually looking for with the initial request is what was the request. So I think we saw on the previous item the actual initial request, and some relevant points are the specific language used, the date received, how it was received, who it was farmed out to, et cetera. That's what we're looking for. And so if we can get that, that would be faboo. In the response from MTA at the top of page 9, they refer to the wrong request number, but they've got the right substance, the number that they point to. And perhaps to further reinforce things to Ms. Peterson, not to create a lot more work for you, but perhaps on the complaint summary page, I'm just showing you this visually, on the complaint summary page where we have our file number, if somewhere we could add the next request or the agency reference number, if applicable, that might help. So if people see this, they can say, oh, 25036, that tracks to 253130. It all works together. Just a suggestion,
No.
not the most critical thing. Can I just ask Mr. Iniha, because I wasn't entirely clear from your presentation just now, if MTA provided some documents related to this Blue Zone at 273 channel, what is it that they haven't provided that you're still looking for?
Yes, they did provide some of the documents. And in the disclosure, they are mentioning resolution with MTA to address their comment on the SWPS number 3 project. So they did not provide any communication regarding this project, and this is clearly what originated the request. This is the only reason why they're even touching this, so they're proposing this change. And I needed to get more information about that specific project, and none of the emails and communications that I provided basically are discussing this, other than just one passing mentioning among everything else.
That may be
they did.
That may be the case. We don't actually have any of the underlying documents before us, just the back and forth.
Oh, I see.
And usually we don't need that. It may be that they provided all that they have, and PS might refer to a pump station on Channel Street, because I know there's a Channel pump station nearby that's operated by the PUC. So it may be that there's a further follow-up that you could do with DPW, PUC, or MTA, or OCII about all this, but it may be that in this instance that they did provide you all that MTA had in connection with the Blue Zone, and if you want to pursue it further as to who and why it was requested, that may be a separate request. But it seems to me that in this case, they may well have provided all the records they had. I don't know, again, because MTA is not here.
Noted. I believe that the expectation is, since they're mentioning comments to the MTA, and my expectation is that those records do exist, but of course we don't know without them being present.
Right. And again, since we haven't seen the underlying, okay, I've said enough. And I don't have any further questions. Thanks.
Thank you.
Member Yankee?
No questions.
Okay. Mr. You'll have up to 3 minutes to provide a rebuttal. If you have any last thoughts on this.
Mr. Kanehar, are you ready for your 3 minutes?
Yes, I am.
Your time begins now.
I don't have much to add to what I said originally. I believe that the SFMTA has more information than what they provided, and that's why I submitted this complaint. My expectation or resolution from this is I need SFMTA to provide all of the records, not just some of them. I need an explanation whether there was an honest mistake, an error. I realize that I have to process a lot of data, and whether it was a mistake or whether they didn't include it because they thought they were not supposed to disclose or somebody else was supposed to disclose it. I was hoping to hear from them the explanation and figure out a way to make sure that we don't run into these issues, because my main problem is when they provide information, I don't know what they didn't provide. And when I find things like this that make me believe that there are other records existing and they're just not providing it, I would like to find out why, and I would like to make sure that it doesn't happen in the future. It is very upsetting to know that certain chunks of information, I appreciate the documents that they gave you, but it's very upsetting to realize that they're still hiding something for some reason. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, members, what is your pleasure?
All right. I'll say two things. First thing is, I think probably my motion thought on this one would be the same as the prior one, since we're pretty much at the same place. So that would be the more immediate motion that I would propose for this. The second point I want to make and draw the members' attention to here is, if you look on page 8 of this complaint, there's a letter to me as chair, and we talked about this a little bit in the prior one. And it talks about the amount of workload that they've had to go through and this, that, and the other thing. It is, I believe, nearly the exact same word, exact same memo, at least, or very, very close to it, that we saw in the prior one. Yet it's signed by a totally different SFMTA employee. Mm-hmm. This makes me feel that there is a coordinated response to his, Mr. Kaniha's, request for information, and that's okay. I'm not saying they can't do that. But that also says to me that there might be a coordinated response or coordinated thought process throughout the agency, that they're going to in turn exempt themselves or feel they can exempt themselves from coming to our hearings. And so if let's say we make a motion similar to we did on the other one, my question to the other members here is, do you think it would be worth having our administrator, on behalf of us, sending a communication, it can be very, very brief, to the department head for SFMTA, informing her that what the provision of 6721 is, the SFMTA, that we're in receipt of this letter now from multiple people in the agency, even though it appears to be the same or largely the same letter. And while we understand the points we're trying to make, that does not allow them to exempt themselves. We wanted to make sure that the department head was aware of that, so that hopefully this isn't a practice that continues. I just am concerned if we're going to see this over and over and over again. Now that I'm seeing it from two different SFMTA employees signing essentially the same letter, now or almost three, since we have Caroline Sly also saying they're not going to participate. So that was my other thought on this, just to try to get ahead of how this might work.
Member Bilbao?
If you want to talk about this for a second, I think that that's an interesting idea to get ahead of the thing. I think we could either authorize that as this committee, or you could take it upon yourself as the task force chair to inform her in a kind and respectful but direct way. That's Julie Kirschbaum. I might suggest also sending that to Caroline Salaya, to Christine Silva, the board secretary, and possibly Judson True, who's now the chief of staff there. I don't know that any of this rolls up to Judson, but he might well be helpful. I think that's exactly they were informed. And if something later happens, they might not be surprised if something ends up going to ethics or getting escalated elsewhere, because we informed them and it's up to them to figure out who and how. We don't care who they send, but they're a big agency. I mean, we just heard from people at smaller and very small agencies that send people, and even an office of 5 people.
Right. We've literally had representatives from supervisors
Right.
show up at this meeting just now as the board of supervisors is in session,
Right.
and they found someone to come here.
Right.
So I think this is not being a good partner in the process.
Right. And again, I don't care who, somebody authorized, somebody knowledgeable, somebody should be on this. And if they all are busy, then somebody should be backing them up. So yeah, however you want to handle that, I'm supportive.
Here's what I recommend. I think we should package it the same way we did the previous case. We should go to the full board. We should hear them together. And one of our actions at the end could be, a directive like you talked about, or we can get ahead of it and write that directive now saying, we're hearing 2 of your cases. You've
That's
not.
what I was thinking, so that we just don't
Yeah,
have a repeat of no one shows at the full task force.
because they're not going to. So yeah, I like that. So let's package it, send it up to task force, recommend that it be heard with the previous case. And then in the meantime,
Why don't we do, if you wouldn't mind, let's do 2 motions to keep it simple for.
Sure.
Yeah, for this. So what, Pat, I'm going to make the exact same motion as the prior one, so you can literally copy and paste it.
Done.
And then just make a note that to hear both this case and the prior case at the same meeting. So I don't know if we're-
25036 will be heard with 25035.
My only suggestion, I agree with that. My only suggestion is to hear them consecutively, not call them together.
Yeah,
Because they're actually different.
It's the same meeting. I'm not,
Same
we're not,
meeting.
I'm not combining the cases,
Yes,
just
yes.
on the same agenda. Right.
Okay.
consecutively, that's good.
Yes.
So we're going to hear them we recommend that they be heard consecutively at the full task force.
But the motion I'm making is the exact same as the prior motion.
Jurisdiction,
Is there,
public records, refer to full.
I'm going to make a
task force.
second motion. This is just to keep it simple. So this motion is specifically for how to handle this file. Then I'll make a separate motion once we move through this.
All right, so what I had generally was to find jurisdiction that's a public records matter, refer to the full task force for a hearing, and somehow warn the MTA that failure to send an authorized representative would be a 67.21E violation.
Yeah, that was my motion for the prior.
and that was moved and seconded by,
Moved by Member Yankee. I'll second it if you, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's,
Cut and paste.
all right.
Trying to keep it consistent.
And then if you want to go ahead and make a second motion, we can get public comment on
Do you want to vote on this one first, then I'll make the
Public
second
comment?
one?
package it together.
Do you want to just warn us what the second motion is?
Oh, the second motion is just going to be to authorize or recommend that the chair of the task force make send a communication to the department head explaining the need for the SFMTA to follow.
Do we even need a motion?
We probably don't, but I think it's just helpful just so it doesn't look like I'm going rogue on it.
I guess it goes in the record, so yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it just helps. It's
So-
we all
Let's skip public comment on that first motion, please.
taking public comment on item 7, file 25036. If you're in the room, please approach the podium. If you're online, raise your hand in the app or press *3. We have no one in the queue.
All right, let's do the roll,
Taking the vote.
please.
Taking the vote on item 7, file 25036. Member Yankee.
I
Member Yankee, aye. Member Pilpel.
Aye.
Member Pilpel, aye. Chair Highland. Chair Highland, aye. 3 ayes.
okay, and then my second motion will be when you're ready. Get ready.
First one is 6721E. I'm ready for the second motion.
Okay, that the committee, move that the committee recommends that the task force chair send a communication to the SFMTA department head informing her of the need for SFMTA to comply with 67 with the provision of 6721E, requiring an authorized representative of the custodian of public records need to attend SOTF hearings. Now, that's the motion, as you know, to the members. What I want to have that convey is, and I'll copy Caroline Salaya, and if member people, if you know other people, but what I really want to make sure it is the department head, because I think that if this goes in a direction where the department head is not having compliance, that goes to a willful failure, perhaps online. So I want to start that paper trail. If we need to end up going that direction, we see continued non-attendance by SFMTA. But what my intention is, and I'm going to offer to discuss these letters that they've sent us now under multiple signers. I don't think anything the SFMT or anything the SOTF has done has somehow told the SFMTA that they have to turn over every single one of these records tomorrow. They talk about rolling basis, and I think we've always been agreeable to that. But what they can't do is just exempt themselves from the SOTF process. And so I think that's the main point I want to drive home. And if anyone else has any recommendations of what else I should include in that letter, let me know.
Very good. I'll second that motion.
On that, I don't have any additional specific thoughts. If I have names, I'm happy to share them with you. Yes, I think the point is that whoever's appearing on behalf or not appearing on behalf of the agency is representing the department and the department head. So if the department head doesn't know that this is being done essentially in their name, they should know.
Right.
And if thereafter it continues to happen, then you knew and it was done in your name, and whatever consequences flow from that, so be it.
Right.
So they should be informed, and that's why I think informing others that may be around the loop there makes sense. And they can say, okay, is this really what we want to do? If that's what they want to do, then that's what they want to do.
Right.
So
yeah.
So they're on notice.
They're on notice, exactly.
Okay. So yes, I think that makes sense in this context of these two items. And I think I already expressed that, my sense was more toward a violation on the previous and not towards a violation on this. So it has nothing to do with whether there's an underlying violation or not. It's that they have to participate.
Right. Because I don't think this is going to be the last two that we see.
From Mr. Kmiha, or for that matter, from anybody.
Right. And I certainly don't want there to ever be this thought process that if we feel that someone's abusing the system, and he may or may not be, it's not our decision to make, right, that somehow we get to exempt ourselves from the process entirely. It just doesn't work that way. There's no provision in the law for that.
And for what it's worth, the number of complaints that the task force has heard over the years against the city attorney, against the Arts Commission, against a number of agencies from repeat people, regardless of how repeaty or not repeaty they've been, they've generally sent representatives and argued the case on the merits.
Yeah.
All right. Public comment on that motion, please.
Anyone wishing to make public comment? If you're in the room, please approach the podium. If you're online, please raise your hand in the app. We have no one in the queue.
Okay.
And sorry, just to clarify, the implication, if this passes, is that this would happen prior to the scheduling or the hearing of those items. This is not a recommendation that has to go to the full task force.
Yes, I'm going to send it this
correct
tomorrow or this week. So
okay,
that there's full. What I want to make sure is that if we do have non-attendance by SFMTA in 2 weeks, when this likely comes before the full task force, that I can then say department head was put on notice.
Right.
So it's very clear to everyone across the board that they needed to attend this. So if the full task force wants to take further action or whatever, that's part of the record by the time we get to
Right.
that.
I don't know if we would do that at the same meeting.
We might
but
not.
At least we've got more options.
Exactly.
And really, we don't want any of that to happen. We just
No,
want
no,
them to
just,
show up.
I want to figure these out.
Right. Show up, talk to us.
All right, let's have a roll on that, please.
Taking the vote?
Yes, please.
Member Yankee.
Aye.
Member Yankee, aye. Member Pilpel, or Chair Hyland.
Aye.
Chair Hyland, aye. Member Pilpel.
Aye.
Member Pilpel, aye. 3 ayes.
Thank you, Mr. Kaniha.
Thank you, Paul, for attending.
Thank you all.
Right. Next item, please.
One moment, please. Changing roles.
Item number 8.
Item number 8, file number 25039. Complaint filed by Eric Ussel versus Capital Planning Committee, San Francisco Planning Department for allegedly violating Administrative Code Sunshine Ordinance Section 67.21 by failing to respond to a public records request in a timely and/or complete manner. On June 17, 2025, the Complaint Committee found that the task force has jurisdiction, that the requested records are public, and referred the matter to the full task force for consideration of a violation of Administrative Code Sunshine Ordinance Section 67.21 by failing to respond to a public records request in a timely and/or complete manner, whether names were improperly redacted on this document, and whether there are further documents to be produced. On July 2nd, 2025, the task force found that the San Francisco Planning Department violated Administrative Code Sunshine Ordinance Section 67.21B for failure to respond to a public records request in a timely and/or complete manner, and ordered the production of all identifiable documents requested that have not been produced be produced per the ordinance, and further that the respondent has failed to have an authorized representative in attendance in violation of 6721E, and to refer the matter to a committee for follow-up. Committee members, you have been forwarded a communication at the request of petitioner for documents received Friday, July 18 and Monday, July 21 for your consideration.
Thank you.
One moment, promoting Mr. Jonas Ionen to
Okay.
panelist.
And while you're doing that, I think I missed the vote on this. Is there a reason it came to EOTC and not compliance?
Yes, compliance and amendments is going to be focusing exclusively on the amendments part of their work until they can finish up the draft on that. They've,
Okay. Okay, that's all I need to hear.
so
Okay.
in the short term, EOT is going to be doing a lot of the compliance portion while they focus on the amendments portion.
Got it. That makes more sense to me. Member Pilpel, you have
Yeah,
something?
and one other thing, unless I'm mistaken here, I think all of these references to Capital Planning Committee are wrong, that it's actually the Planning Department, and it's only because their city abbreviation is CPC that somehow that got translated instead of City Planning Commission as Capital Planning Committee. So I think all of the references should be to the San Francisco Planning Department.
Yeah.
So if we can make the appropriate corrections in the summary, in the minutes, in the proposed order, all of that, because there is in fact a capital planning committee in the city, and I don't think Mr. Roussel's complaint
Right.
has anything to do with that.
Looking at the July 2nd order termination, it is referenced correctly, so I'm happy to
Right,
proceed based
but
on
it still says CP, capital planning.
that's our summary. That's not the order.
Okay.
The order is what we're going on.
Okay.
Okay.
Anyway, thank you.
And actually, I'm going to read that order into the record. Action moved by Member Schmidt, second by Member Wolf, to find that the SF Planning Department violated Administrative Code 6721B for failure to respond to public records requests in a timely and/or complete manner, and order the production of all identifiable documents requested that have not been produced be produced per the ordinance. And further, that the respondent has failed to have an authorized representative in attendance, violation 1621E, and defer the matter to a committee for follow-up. Okay. Right. Mr. Roussel, you're going to appear first, and you'll have up to 5 minutes. Ms. Peterson will let you know when you may start.
All right, good evening, members. This is the third time that planning is not attending the hearing. And
Hang on, can you please pause this?
They are on the
I
hearing.
would say, I believe
Mr. Ionin is here, present. So
planning is here.
yeah. So go ahead. Yeah. So twice they haven't been here. Third time lucky.
all right, twice, not this time. And they still haven't produced the records I requested April 16th, which is the Audrey Malone email thread disparaging me.
Could you talk into the microphone a little bit more? Yeah.
The Audrey email thread disparaging me that was sent to a few staff at planning, and it was tampered. The record was tampered because they removed the subject line, they removed the CC line, so I have no way of knowing who received the email and what it was about really. And in these 3 emails that they procured, it shows that some emails were sent or received that were not produced. So definitely there are records missing. I can prove that. You can see that in the records. Also, they haven't produced the internal memos or emails about why they issued a notice of violation for me when I was fully complying with the violation. Still nothing. Same thing with another matter about involving my permits to the NOV that was a separate issue. This too was not explained to me or produced. Records were not produced. I think there is evidence that staff is blocking me or hindering my compliance because possibly because this email chain disparaging me that was circulating all over the Department of Planning. And since April 16th, I've been requesting for these emails, and they have not produced them. And we've just produced emails with CC lines missing and subject lines missing. So definitely there's something that we're hiding. And I would like you, the task force, to find that non-compliance and that referral to the Ethics Commission or the Board of Supervisor or the District Attorney, because what's happening is not ethic, is not right. That's it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is anybody here speaking on behalf of Mr. Russell, either online or in the audience?
We have no one else online, no one approaching the podium.
Okay. We could.
Well, I would like to add, I submitted some documents late submitting that highlight and prove pretty much what I'm saying, that there are some breach of ethics.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, Mr. Ionin, next.
Mr. Ionin, are you ready for your 5 minutes?
Sure, I'm
Your
present.
time. Thank you. Your time begins now.
Okay. Good evening, members of the committee. Yeah, I was equally confused why we were being referred to this particular committee. And I'll just mention that my absence in the last hearing was on July 2nd, and it was a holiday week, so I had previous plans, and I advised this task force of my absence in advance when it was originally scheduled. I will only say that we have provided all of our responsive documents to Mr. Rousseau in totality. The previous omission was discovered when we were preparing our findings for the hearing, and I will simply stand by California Government Code Section 7927.700, .705, California Government Code Section 7921, the San Francisco Sunshine Ordinance Section 67.1G, and the California Evidence Code 1041-2 as to withholding redactions that Mr. Rousseau finds unsatisfactory in our response. We have performed exhaustive searches. My staff has responded multiple times to Mr. Rousseau's endless requests. We have provided him with everything we have related to his record requests. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody here to provide any comments on behalf of the respondent?
Members of the online community, if you have a response, please raise your hand in the app or press *3. We have no one in the queue.
Okay, thank you. Members, the matters before you. And I just also want to confirm that we have not received anything from Mr. Ionin since July 2nd, as far as additional material.
That's what our records indicate. Mr. Ionin, can you confirm?
I can, which is why I'm a little confused, because we forwarded our final responsive documents before the July 2nd hearing on June 30th, which was forwarded by your staff to the task force members. So that's why I'm a little confused as to the result of the July 2nd hearing. We provided all of our responsive documents previously. On June 30th, we forwarded the final bits of communication that we found that were outstanding.
Okay, I'll let Member Yankee take this line a bit further.
Okay, so Mr. Ionin, as we've told Mr. Rousseau here also, there's a deadline for when we can receive things for our packet. And if they were sent to the task force on June 30th for a July 2nd meeting, that would have been after our agenda was published, and there's no way that those items could be included in the agenda for the task force to review.
That's fair, but they were forwarded to you.
Okay, but we don't accept, unless we vote to otherwise, the practice is not to accept late submissions.
That's fine. I'm just curious why you're asking me, because they were forwarded to you.
Let's be clear. So they wouldn't have been in for July 2nd, but they may well have been in for today, and they're not before us today.
And let me ask this question. When, Madam Peterson, when these were received, were they then forwarded to Mr. Rousseau?
I'm checking.
They were sent to Mr. Rousseau as well as to the Sunshine Ordinance Task Force.
Thank you.
Mr. Rousseau received them on Monday, June 30th, as did your Sunshine Ordinance Task Force staff, which then forwarded them to you as the members.
Very good. Thank you.
So then my question to Ms. Peterson, when she has a moment, and I know she's looking something up, but let me know, Ms. Peterson, when you're ready.
I'm ready.
So if Planning Department sent additional items on June 30th, they will not be in the packet that's posted for the July 2nd meeting, right? Because that was already posted before June 30th. I don't see them in this packet either. So if there are additional materials related to this file that may show that planning implied, where are they?
No, I'm just.
No, this isn't a question for you.
Hold on.
I'm checking for the June 30. Okay, they are received.
So
Forward.
while the administrator looks those up to the members here. So my concern on this is that obviously the task force looked at the file in its July 2nd meeting that would not have included an additional set of responsive documents, right? So we made a motion and then said, we're going to send this to committee to follow up, essentially to review this late submission to make sure that it complies with what Mr. Rousseau wants. And then if it doesn't, or if we think it comes up short, to then take whatever action. But I'm not seeing this additional June 30th set of documents attached here as part of this file. So I don't know how we can appropriately review and see if there was compliance in this matter.
They were emailed. The response was emailed to the parties. It was not included in this follow-up.
July 2nd. We said
No,
if you
no.
add the full stack
We'll
of
get
the-
through.
So
We gave you time to speak, please.
this is we're working out administrative things here. 1 second.
I did not add it to the question of whether responsive documents were received. I didn't understand that this committee would be evaluating whether or not the response.
So unfortunately, I don't think they're anywhere online, right? I can't even look back at the prior agenda unless we were to dig deep in our emails and find, but I don't think that's a public way that we should be reviewing.
Can I say something? I
They
know what
were,
No, please.
We'll get to you. We really will.
We gave you your time and we didn't interrupt you, sir. It's not fair to interrupt us.
because I know what happened to the.
Okay.
they,
Yeah, I'm going to ask you to sit down. When we're ready, we'll call you back up. Please take a seat.
they are not online. I did not include in the packet for this committee meeting, member documents after the OD.
Okay, so I think just going forward, so everyone's clear, what needs to happen is if they can't be included in the file as of the date the full task force here, anything that's added to the file as of that cutoff date then needs to be put into some type of online format so that the follow-up committee can review it. Otherwise, there's no continuity of what happened. So I have concerns about that here from our standpoint. Member Popo?
I think there are a variety of ways to handle it, but at a minimum, those documents, that the substance of that email should have been put into this file 25039.
Right.
And if it was post-decision, like the order, or post the cutoff for that decision, then it should have been included in this packet
Exactly.
as that subset so that we could evaluate
Right,
it.
we could open up the one file from the prior one,
Right.
this, and it'd be a full, complete packet.
Or have a link to it or something. Again, different ways, but it should be, as the kids say now, visible, and it is not. Can someone remind me where we were on the back and forth? Had Mr. Ionin finished his statement? And
Right, so Mr.
questions?
Ionin,
Or did we cut him off?
No, the matter's before us, so we're
Okay.
deliberating at this
right, so
point.
that was my question. So I'm not even, I don't think I can be prepared to make a finding on this because there were certain things that we didn't look at when we reviewed this on July 2nd. There's now additional documents that planning is claiming fulfill the remainder of what Mr. Rousseau's request was. But we can't see those online.
Right.
So I don't want to hear both sides talk about what those documents may or may not be. I think we all need to see them and review them together so we all know what we're talking about. So I think doing much more right now is not really a best use of our time.
Is there any way we can quickly look at that email that was sent to?
The task force members,
Yeah, because Mr. Ionin says it came to us, but I'm not seeing it. I don't know what I should be searching under.
sent at 3:59 PM.
No.
For that matter, does anyone believe that what we received yesterday or today, that was a
No.
late submission from Mr. Roussel, has any probative value?
No, and again, it's a late submission. I think,
Understood.
yeah, I think this needs to be continued to call the chair. Mr. Rousseau can include his late documents, we'll get the documents we need in the first place.
Exactly.
And we can look at this correctly. So that is my motion.
I will second that.
Okay. Can I make a
One
couple of comments?
comment only. That's
Okay.
it. Make it a good one. Every time a couple of comments is
Okay, well,
killing
I
us.
just want to make my position clear. I have no
You can do it.
objection
I see.
to continuing. I'll just say as to page 8 and 9 of the packet from Mr. Roussel that was timely submitted, I'm not particularly interested in the retaliatory and biased enforcement and slimy and all that characterization stuff. I am somewhat interested in redactions and withholding and whether there was proper citations for redaction or withholding. And I'm interested in whether all the documents requested were provided, and I'm finding it difficult to figure out what was the original document, what was a clip, what was a violation, whether. And anyway, I'm just finding it very difficult because it's a lot of material from different people, different addresses, different files.
Correct. And we have to focus on the order of determination.
Right.
And the supporting documents. And if either party wants to submit anything after this meeting, that will also be included. And we'll proceed from there. All right. Public comment on that motion.
We have no one in the room, no one online.
Okay. Take a vote, please.
And that was moved by Chair Hyland, seconded by Member Yankee.
Yes.
Okay. Chair Hyland,
Aye.
Chair Hyland, aye. Member Yankee,
Aye.
Member Yankee, aye. Member Pilpel,
This is to continue to the call of the chair?
yes.
Yes.
Member Pilpel, aye.
Mr.
Aye.
Russell, please approach. Okay. As it may have worked out, we can't act on material we don't have in front of us. So we have to put this on pause. We have to get the material that was sent late for the July 2nd meeting. Your material that you wanted to include will also be included. So, you have the copy of what was sent to you. So if you see anything that's you feel is still missing, and please focus on documents that are missing. What you said about, the conspiracy theories and whatnot, that's not on our purview. We can't help you with that. We can help you with documents that you still need. So if you really keep your focus narrow, and feel free to add anything that you think is missing, we can help you find that.
Very something.
So please I'll give you a chance to respond.
Well, what I want to say is that these documents that planning sent,
Speak into the microphone.
these documents planning sent, 500 pages. Mr. Yankee was sitting here on July 2nd, and he had the stack of paper of his 500 pages. And he asked me, did you read that? Because they sent that 3 days ago. Did you have time to review this? Is there something still missing? And I said, yes, I did review it, and there's still something missing. So these documents were actually accepted as part of the record because July 2nd, I was asked about these documents. So that's all I wanted to say, by the way, when I was trying to interrupt.
Okay. So
I know what happened to these documents.
all right. So now you have more time to review those 500 pages and
I
identify.
reviewed them already.
Okay. If specifically what you think you're missing out of that package is
Well,
what we're going to focus on at our next meeting. So help us help you.
I'm going to get you something very easy to focus on and to figure out is that.
So, Mr. Russell, we're not going to get into the merits of this now, but please send this.
I'm not talking about whether it's right or wrong. I'm just telling you that it's easy to figure out if it's missing or not. I only got 3 emails about the thread, and the emails talk about other emails being sent somewhere. So there are more than 3 for sure, and they have not been produced. And in this stack of 500 pages that was talked about on July 2nd, no emails from in the thread were produced. So
Okay.
definitely that's the easy part to know it's missing.
Okay.
Other things missing.
Please send that in. Please send that specific
It's
information
in
about
the
one that-
package I sent late Friday.
Okay, good. That'll be included. If you want to change that or
No.
focus it more tightly, that's a great idea. We'll look at both. You can put all that into the package.
Actually, I have a few copies if you want.
It has to go to our administrator. It has to go into the package, so it's in the public record. We can't.
Yeah, well, anyway, I submitted that Friday, so it's
Okay.
yeah.
All right. So we will look at that, and we will look at this material that didn't make it into this package, so we can do proper justice and give you what you're looking for.
And please pay attention to the fact that the subject line is missing, CC line is missing, so it's been tampered with for sure.
Okay.
Why?
We will look
all
at
the other emails do not.
We will
have
look
that.
at that as part of the redactions. That's something we do standard. Like, why are they redacting? We will ask them that question.
Because all the thousands of emails I got for other things, we don't have that. It's the only emails. with that.
So part of what we're asking for next time, which might be in 2 months in September, is if you have an updated summary of what you think is missing or was improperly redacted, then we can go through that. That would be most helpful.
If you want to
If I
just
can
leave
have
it.
the things for sure, yeah, I'll tell you.
Okay.
And get it in time, and that will be great.
All right.
Thank you.
I appreciate you coming and
But-
waiting this evening and not getting the resolution you wanted, but we have to do it by the book. So.
Yeah, you know, I have 2 appeals with the Board of Appeals, and I need to get these documents for my appeals. So it's gonna be done.
I understand that.
And
Okay.
thank you to Mr. Ionin for attending tonight.
Member Pilpil, that's my job.
Oh, I wanted to say.
Yes, I know, but you keep thanking all members of the public, where that's the chair's responsibility. When you're chair, you can do that. All right. Thank you, Mr. Russell. Thank you, Mr. Ionin. And
Thank you, Marty.
we will work to get this back in front of us as soon as possible. All right. Is there anything, our next item?
Item 11, announcements, comments, questions, and future agenda items by members of the Education, Outreach, and Training Committee.
Oh.
Member
Chair.
Pilpel, yes.
Yeah, and actually, the header on this should have said EOT.
Well, we're acting as the complaint committee as well as the EOT, so I can see what that
Okay,
is.
all right.
Is there anyone else you'd like to thank? This is the time to do it. Item 11.
I'd like to thank everyone who helped produce the picture and the cinematographer.
You might have to stand up and
Okay.
hold your word up for this. All right.
I'm supposed to be across town in a few minutes. There are actually 4 items. There are 4 items that I wanted to suggest. And
Of course.
I'll make them brief.
Not a couple, not 3, but 4. All right.
I would suggest that we discuss, and perhaps at the end of the meeting next time, outreach and ways that we can, as a task force and as this committee, conduct more outreach to various communities and audiences. Second is training. This is the discussion that we've been wanting to have primarily with the city attorney, but perhaps with Ethics Commission staff, possibly even DHR, about training broadly and our involvement in training that is required under the ordinance, that it's in consultation with the task force. The third is website, the task force's website, and a review of that, and what minimal changes can we make within the existing framework. And that might involve Pat, Victor, possibly the Board of Supervisors IT staff. I'm not suggesting a major rewrite of the website, but we haven't really reviewed it in a long time. And I think that would be a good use of a few minutes. And finally, considering whether to move to a 4 p.m. start time on a regular basis when Member Kumar is here, depending on our availability.
Very good.
I think this idea of starting earlier gets us out earlier and is helpful, but I'm open to other people and their timing availability.
Very good.
Fair enough for future meetings?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Member Yankee, thank you for attending. Did you have anything to add to that?
Public comment, we have no one in the room, no one online.
Great.
Very good. I will
Item 12, adjournment.
let member / chair Yankee sign us out.
Move that we adjourn.
Without
Adjourned at 7:42 PM.
Right.
Microphones are off.